Good morning, true crime and celebrity friends. Oh boy, this has been a morning. Not so bad. But I went to press the resume button to finish out day 12 because I saved it all so it wouldn't end recording. Why did I push end recording? Oh my God. So I don't quite remember where we were. I know we were still on the prosecutor's closing arguments, but I'm not sure where. So we're just going to go like in between him and the defense because I kind of want to, I just don't know where to go. And I don't want to go back too much because then people get bored with the prosecutor because they're just repeating the same thing over and over and over and over. But they're on verdict watch, so we got time. So, okay, let's get this going. Oh, if you're here watching the recording, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment and let me know how messed up I am. I'd go on camera, but I forgot with short hair, you have to actually comb your hair now. And I just throw it in a ponytail. So yeah, we won't be going on camera until I do something with this mess. So, all right, here we go.
The testimony of Major gives you 3. The testimony of Brantley gives you 3. Xavier's body gives you more than 3. From that, it's easy to find 3 acts of child abuse that this defendant inflicted on Xavier. Did the defendant cause bodily harm is the first element for each one of those acts. Bodily harm includes physical pain, injury, or impairment of physical condition.
We did. I do remember this.
Or impairment of his condition from this defendant's acts.
He was almost done. So let's go to the defense and see what he has to say, right? Oh, so the other guy's going to do it. Okay, here we go.
Because I'm terrified. I'm terrified that something I failed to do or say or failed to explain will end up with an innocent woman being convicted. And so all I ask of you is that when I inevitably fall short in giving you my thoughts on this case, that when you go back into the jury room, you draw upon your collective wisdom and the many, many notes you took throughout this trial. Now, this case comes down to 3 fundamental truths. The first truth is that this investigation was not a search for the truth. It was a defense of a premature conclusion. The second fundamental truth is that the medical science does not support murder. And the third fundamental truth about this case is that there are multiple reasonable explanations that are consistent with Josie's innocence. Overdose, Derek as the abuser, injuries not intended to cause death. And the list goes on. I would like to talk to you about some of those as we go forward. But I first would like to start where the law begins, the burden of proof. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And we've all heard that before. And what is the burden of proof? Well, the burden of proof was built on a hard lesson, which is that when the burden is too low, innocent people do get convicted. Because human beings, the courts are run by human beings. We are all human. We are fallible. We make mistakes. We make assumptions. We have biases. And the burden of proof is designed to protect against those very human errors. And that is why we have such a high burden. Because society concluded that it is unacceptable to convict innocent people for something they didn't do. So I'll talk briefly about what reasonable doubt is. But I'll first start with what it is not. What reasonable doubt is not, it's not that you think something probably happened. It is not enough that there is more evidence that you believe of guilt than there is of innocence. It is not even enough that you are firmly convinced that you have a strong belief that something bad happened based on the evidence. That is not enough. The government must eliminate each and every reasonable hypothesis consistent with innocence, a reasonable explanation consistent with Josie's innocence. And we heard some of that in the trial testimony. We heard from Dr. Quinton that overdose is a very real possibility. It is squarely supported by the evidence. And if this was an accidental overdose, count 1 must fail. This is not an intentional homicide. And if it's an overdose, count 3 must fail. And that's just one example. And you'll hear more as we go forward. But it is important to know that you do not have to solve every mystery. You do not have to pick the explanation that you think is the most convincing. All you have to do is determine if there is one single reasonable doubt in this case, just one. Now let's talk about the first truth in this case, that this case was not a search for the truth. It was focused on defending a conclusion from day one. A 911 call comes in, reporting the tragic death of a child. And even in that first moment, Josie raises the possibility of overdose. And so what do law enforcement do? By sheer happenstance, they arrive within minutes. And they immediately judge Josie guilty. Immediately, they conclude that she must have staged that scene. Immediately, they thought she must be covering for a horrible crime. Only a murderer would stage the scene. And what was their evidence at that point? Pill bottles around on the floor. They had no testing on those items. They formed a conclusion based on an assumption from day one and began defending that conclusion rather than trying to find out what actually happened. Now, let's talk about the investigation and the incredible failures that we saw because of a breakdown in the chain of command. Now, you saw from the testimony that there was no single person in charge of this investigation. And Lieutenant Williams, he agreed, this is not just an issue about flowcharts and organizational dynamics. This is a critically important factor in any investigation this complex. There are hundreds of witnesses to interview, multiple competing inferences and explanations, medical science, forensic analysis, thousands of hours of video and audio and paper, hundreds of thousands of documents in this very case alone. And so it's critically important that you have one person in charge to assign tasks and to ensure that things do not fall through the cracks, important things. But that is not what we had here. There was testimony again that no one was truly in charge. And even Sergeant Amundsen, when he testified very reluctantly that he was in the lead. He was the last man standing. Now, there's an analogy that I think captures the concerns with this investigation. Imagine putting together a puzzle while throwing away every piece that doesn't immediately fit. You probably wouldn't end up with a complete picture. Now, let's talk about the behavior, the actions of what happened. Because an investigation should not just draw a conclusion and defend that conclusion. An investigation should actively try to disprove its own conclusion, just like the scientific method, to test all of the other possible reasons or possible explanations of what happened. But we did not see that in this investigation. And so we cannot be certain of its results. And a very early example of that, an investigation at the very beginning, it should expand. It should look at all the possibilities. It should not immediately narrow. But we saw how this investigation immediately narrowed when instead it should have broadened. And we see that in the DNA evidence, which you didn't hear anything about in the closing argument of the government's attorney. And why is that? Because the investigation into the DNA evidence and who touched the pill bottle and the cap was not designed to search for the truth. It was designed to prove that Josie had lied about staging the scene. How do we know that? Because they sent it in, but they only tested for Xavier's DNA. And guess what? It was on there. That supports the idea that he got into something overnight. It doesn't support the staging theory. And so what did they do? Did they say, you know, that's unexpected. We should look into this. No, they immediately stopped and asked no more questions. They didn't test samples from the other adults that could have contributed to those items. They didn't test Derek Pedram or Josie Dikeman or Karsten Jar. They simply said, oh no, this doesn't support our theory, so we're going to stop looking. That is the very first investigative decision that happened in this case. Even though the crime lab analyst specifically said, please send us more samples from individuals believed to be involved. They did not do that. Folks, this only required mailing in a DNA sample. And they didn't do that. If this were truly a search for the truth, why would they not submit comparison samples? Why would they not want to know who touched those bottles? Because what we were left with was uncertainty. And that uncertainty belongs to the government. It has the burden. And investigators never tested the Coach bag. Now think about that. What would that tell us? If Alex's DNA on the Coach bag was on the Coach bag, that would show that perhaps, that would show that he gotten into something. But they didn't do that. And so we don't know. We are left with incomplete evidence that we cannot rely upon. And there were pill fragments on the pillow that were never tested. And Dr. Quinton acknowledged this would be important contextual information, as well as Dr. Christensen, that would help us understand, was this an accidental overdose? They never tested. So here we have the centerpiece of the state's case, the state's homicide case against Josie Dikeman, and they never even fully tested it. Why is that? They want us to believe them. They say, believe us. We believe it, so you should too. But they don't have any facts to prove that, because they didn't look for them, because they were afraid that the answer would not point to Josie's guilt. Again, they were not testing for their own theory being wrong. They were not truly searching for the truth. Contradictory evidence was ignored. And confirmation bias took hold of the investigation. And just briefly on confirmation bias, we all know what that is, even if we don't always call it that. Here's what happens when everyone watches the same play in sports, and the Packers fans say, obvious pass interference, and the Vikings fans say, no, that was clean. And it's particularly powerful, for instance, in politics, when we seek out information and then have algorithms just feeding us back what we want to hear. And so we start filtering all of the evidence that comes in to be consistent with what we already believe. And think to be clear, this is not about bad intentions or makes you a bad person. This is a universal human trait that we all have. And that is so powerful, not because it is overt or obvious, it is so powerful because it is subconscious. But it is powerful nonetheless, and that is impossible for any of us to deny. And police are not immune. Medical personnel are not immune. Children are not immune. We all seek to conform evidence to our existing beliefs. And it takes a lot of effort to avoid that pitfall. So again, let's talk about the tunnel vision on Josie. Investigators admitted Derek Pedron was a suspect. Sergeant Amundsen said he is still a suspect to this day. That is the very definition of reasonable doubt. And there's more. 10 days into the investigation, investigators were already working with Derek Pedron to defense-proof the case. Now, you heard Sergeant Amundsen come in and testify under oath. The first time that conversation happened, that was in September after Josie was already charged and arrested. Matter of fact, that's not true. It was 10 days after Alex Xavier had died. And I think that demonstrates one of the fundamental failures of this investigation, which is that none of the investigators had read all the reports. And the reason why Sergeant Amundsen didn't really know what happened in that meeting in September, which was a meeting that was never disclosed to the defense, no report was made of it. We only learned of it because we physically laid eyes on every bit of video evidence that was in this case, and we discovered this. We said, okay, here's a meeting with a key witness in the case, talking about problems in the case, talking about how the Xanax issue, and talking about Derek's phone. In the very beginning of that meeting, the investigators asked Derek, this was in September, you still have that phone that we were interested in looking into? He said yes. But then, a little while later in that same conversation, they asked him again, can we see your phone? He said, oh, what are you talking about? It's broken. I don't have that phone. And they never even asked what he meant by that. Not once. They never seized Derek Pedron's phone at all, this entire investigation. And let's draw the contrast between that behavior and that of Josie's. You saw Josie's interview with Lieutenant Williams at the very beginning of this case when this had just happened. And Josie handed over the phone willingly. Now, of course, it is true that investigators could have seized that phone without question. And maybe Josie knew that. Maybe not. But what they couldn't have done is compel her passcode. And Josie gave them her passcode without any problem. And that unlocked her life for investigators to inspect. Guess who didn't do that? Derek Pedron. And think about phones, just for a moment. A phone is no longer this rotary dial, object that we had in our house to communicate people across long distances. No, it is now essentially an alter ego. There is no single belonging that any of us possess that gives more insight into what we are doing with our lives, where we physically are located at any given time, what we're searching for, who we're communicating with, what we are communicating about. This gives police a roadmap into Josie's life. And because she had nothing to hide, she gave it to them. Can we conclude the same thing about Derek Pedron? That is up to you to decide. So again, we see the investigation immediately focusing only on Josie and not testing its own theories. Now, again, Derek Pedron admitted to Xanax, bringing it into the house. But that wasn't what he said at first. He had to be caught lying in that very first instance. Because he first said that it came from Josie. It came from Josie's mom. It came from a prescription. And that was not true. And then he said it was from Ted Colkine. She got it from Ted Colkine. Investigators ran down that lead. Turned out that wasn't true. So finally, he admitted to being the source of this substance that we know could very well have killed Alex Xavier. But they never fully investigated. They never investigated his supplier. They never investigated drug transactions. And they never followed up on any of this evidence. There was a critical text about scripts on February 9 of 2023, one day before the evening into Alex Xavier's last day. And they never investigated that. We only found out about what was going on when Mr. Pedron was up on the stand and Attorney Zacher asked him about it. And that was the first time. Investigators apparently never asked. So we had to do that in open court, in front of everyone, and find out what the answer is. Let's talk about Derek Pedron again for a moment. Investigators knew he had a lengthy history of violence, 7 criminal convictions, a serial strangler of women, Josie being first and foremost. Threats to kill Josie. He put her head through the wall several times. There were no contact provisions, but that was just a sheet of paper. And we also saw that there is evidence of child abuse. You saw that video. It was heart-wrenching. Do you like getting your ass beat? That represents rage, intimidation, and violence, and abuse. And when Mr. Pedron was asked about that particular incident, the question was, you were out of control, right? You would agree. You were out of control. His answer? I wasn't out of control. I was just angry. Does that match up? If any of us were walking down the street and saw somebody behaving that way towards a child, would we say, no need to worry. He's not out of control. He's just angry. Well, apparently Sergeant Amundsen agreed with that as he testified. Now, there's another thing. And here is a very telling exchange. When Mr. Pedron was asked, have you ever punched or kicked the children? His answer? I don't think so. Is there a parent in this world who cannot simply answer that question with a no? That would be a parent who has done that more times than he is willing to admit. And so we have repeated lies from the suspect in this own investigation. Lied about the Xanax. And let's just ask if he's willing, and he lied about his alcohol use. Even he got arrested months earlier from his testimony while he was intoxicated. I guess we have to believe that he forgot about that, but the truth is much likely different. And so if Mr. Pedram is willing to lie about some of these the smallest things that don't matter in a criminal trial, are we really to believe that he wouldn't be willing to lie about what's most important to him? His own responsibility for Alex Xavier's death? That is a question that we will have to resolve. But the importance of this, the point is that the government's investigation, it created the uncertainty in this case. And they own that uncertainty. They created it, and they took on the highest burden in the law when they filed these charges. And they don't just get to come in here and throw out different possibilities of what might have happened. They have to provide precise proof of what happened in that house and what caused Alex Xavier's death. And so again, we saw no single investigator reviewing any of the case file, key interviews without police reports. And again, I must say one more thing about this meeting that happened in September that was not disclosed in any report. In search for the truth, investigators document important witness context when they're talking about problems in the case, they're talking about issues in the case. They write reports. I mean, they wrote a report about some random person who evidently didn't know Josie and said something about how she wouldn't let her look after her dog. But they didn't write a report with one of their key witnesses who apparently is still a suspect. Why? Because if you're searching for the truth, you document these contacts. But if you're defending a conclusion, inconvenient facts have a way of leaving no paper trail. So we see how evidence portraying Derek negatively was minimized or ignored. Evidence portraying Josie negatively was amplified and emphasized. Investigators never failed to follow up on statements that Derek treated Alex poorly. And these irrelevant comments were included. And we'll get to this later, but there was also a key piece of evidence in this trial that you heard, which was a 911 call in November of 2022, when Derek Pedram had viciously assaulted Josie by repeatedly punching her in the throat and strangling her because she cooked the ground beef for the kids. That was his ground beef. And so that's what he does when you cook his ground beef for the kids. And she told you that in the 911 call, that she had no reason to know would show up in a homicide trial 4 years later. But what does that tell you? It tells you that she said he did the same thing to his 6-year-old, to Alex, and that he was teaching Alex to lie. That was in that call. That is a snapshot of what is actually happening in real time before anybody knew it would become relevant in this trial. That is evidence you don't have to ignore. So let's move forward to some of the most dramatic, incredible testimony I've seen in a trial. When Lieutenant Williams was asked about what is the state's theory? Why would Josie do this? When she was looking forward to a date, she was taking selfies with Brantley, she was texting with Raphael, she was seemingly looking forward to a future with someone other than Derek. Why would she do that? And Lieutenant Williams' answer was, if you're saying she killed him that night, I have no idea. Once again, that is the very definition of reasonable doubt. If he doesn't know, how can we? And then we also heard from Sergeant Amundsen, the lead investigator, who apparently hasn't read all the reports, looked at the transcripts, or watched all the videos. He testified that that conversation about thinking like defense lawyers happened in September. That was wrong. It happened February 21. And he testified as well. What is your theory? Why would you do this? How did this happen? And he said the working theory is that Josie must have murdered Alex because he wouldn't let her go to sleep. She wanted to go on a date the next day, so she murdered a child. And that's their working theory. Like my working drafts, which go through 8 different versions before I finalize them. So maybe if we have a trial in 2 weeks, the working theory would change once again, because they do not know. They are required, beyond a reasonable doubt, to prove exactly what happened, not to provide us with a working theory. So if the supposed lead investigators can explain to us what happened, how can we know? And why don't they know? It's because the evidence in this case never supported the murder theory. The evidence kept pointing back towards overdose, towards Derek, towards uncertainty. But that overdose evidence was ignored. You heard from Dr. Quinn. He could not determine the exact cause of death, and he could not rule out overdose. And he said that Xanax's role in this was crucial. What does that mean? That means that overdose is not some far-fetched speculative theory. It is reasonable. It is medically supported. It is consistent with the toxicology. And it is so critically important to understand that if this was an overdose, intentional homicide is not proven. Count 1 is not proven. Count 3 is not proven. And that is enough for reasonable doubt just in and of itself. But then we have an example from the medical examiner, from Liz Lubinsky, who, I guess in Wisconsin, well, I know in Wisconsin, we don't have medical doctors who serve as medical examiners. I guess that's unique to us. But it seemed like Ms. Lubinsky was much more of a police officer than a medical professional, because her entry into the case essentially was an attempt to overrule the pathologist who said that this was homicide due to the actions of some other person. But instead she wrote that there was homicidal violence and that Alex Xavier died from homicidal assault. Those are her words, not Dr. Quinton. He told you that. Those weren't his words. He wouldn't have used them. And so what does that tell us? Well, what it tells us, as well as Ms. Lubinsky's testimony, about how the mindset had taken such strong hold that this was only about proving Josie guilty. It was not about exploring what happened. And that is why Ms. Lubinsky came in and she told us all that there were brown bananas on the fruit stand in their house. And we saw the photo. The brown bananas were next to fresh fruit and other snacks that the kids could get freely. And frankly, if brown bananas are criminal neglect, then You're gonna have to lock me up too, because how many of us have not let bananas overripen in our kitchen? But the point is that bananas are not evidence of criminal neglect. They are evidence of how confirmation bias was so powerful in this investigation. And look, we know why that was. We know why. It was because Josie was never going to be able to move past her earlier convictions in 2001 and 2011 and 2013. And I will say, my biggest fear in this case is that you will not be able to look past this evidence for what it is. It is the state attempting to distract you, to overwhelm you, to provoke anger, to distract you from anything but a lack of evidence in this case. We never tried to hide this from you. We told you this was coming. But if the state had the facts to prove its case, they wouldn't have to rely on convictions that go back to up to 15 years ago. And the state is trying, not subtly, to use this prior conviction as evidence of current guilt. They're trying to say she was an abuser then and she's an abuser now. That is what they're trying to get you to conclude. But the evidence doesn't support that. The 2011 evidence did not conclude that she was abusive. This was an incident where a young child held on the stairs. And this similarity, I think, explains why they believe that they can use that to say that she must have done something wrong here. But the facts are much different. In that case, Josie was a 19-year-old addict, and she did not care about her responsibility. She was neglectful, and a child was injured, falling down the stairs at her apartment. Now, that was investigated at the time. And investigator Tony DeLette, the officer who investigated this, walked through the house and noted no inconsistent information about what she had reported. Josie took the child immediately into the hospital. And there was no medical certainty in that case. 4 doctors agreed that this was consistent with the explanation. And there was not one doctor who was willing to say that this was abuse. And there's another important aspect of that. There was evidence that was destroyed as part of that. And the instruction says that you can conclude, you can draw the inference that this would have been favorable. But the point is that abuse was not established at all in that case. And there was no conviction. But there was another concerning circumstance with Haley in 2013. To be sure, there were some fractures, and there were some other conditions having to do with malnutrition, vitamin D deficiencies, other physical ailments that are dangerous for a child if they're not treated. And that was investigated thoroughly. And it was believed that as to the physiological conditions, that she had celiac. And celiac basically explained all of these conditions. It's basically a disorder that prevents absorbing proper nutrients. And that explains vitamin D deficiency. That explains some of the other findings. This was a coherent explanation from the medical science of what would lead to some of these conditions. But then you did have these concerning injuries. But what did they find out? They investigated everybody in that household. They interviewed them. Not one of them said that Josie was abusive towards the child. Not one. In fact, her partner at the time, who was the other caregiver who was in that household all the time, he had no job. Josie didn't work full time, but she was picking up shifts when she could. But her partner, Dustin Barnes, told investigators she never hurt the children. That was what's called a statement against interest, because he was the only potential source of those injuries. And once again, there was no established abuse by Josie in that case. The conviction was for neglect, not abuse, and that is important. Now again, the government wants you to conclude that Josie was an abuser then. She was secretly an abuser, now she's an abuser now. But you cannot use that reasoning. The instruction tells you that you cannot use that evidence to say that this is what happened. And again, if they had the facts to support their case, they wouldn't have to go lean so heavily on an order situation that doesn't even prove what they say it does. And just one quick point on that, which is that most people don't know what actually happens in criminal cases. All people usually know is what is in the criminal complaint. And that is a document written by prosecutors. That has all the bad information that makes you look guilty, makes you look the worst. But people don't have access to the police reports. They don't have access to the medical experts, any of the forensic analysis. They don't really know the facts. And so when somebody has a past, particularly in a very troubling case, people are inclined to believe the worst because they just don't know the details.
Because I'm not back. We stipulated to these facts, and we're now arguing the facts that we stipulated to?
I assume he's talking about the stipulated facts.
Yes.
No. I'll move about the stipulated facts.
So again, this is evidence meant to insinuate that Josie is secretly an abuser without evidence. And they're saying that where there's smoke, there's fire. And that is true. As far as I know, I don't know anything that produces smoke other than fire. But what looks like smoke is not always smoke. And in this case, what you're seeing is...
Oh my God, I about died when he said that. This isn't a funny thing, but you know, sometimes my body needs to laugh to feel good. I don't know where these lawyers came from, like out of an 80s movie. For real, they look like lawyers from the 80s, like Matlock or something. Or I don't know when Matlock came out, the 60s or whatever. I don't know, but they look like lawyers that are out of one of those court TV shows or whatever. My God.
It's a massive cloud of dust that they're kicking up to distract you, to overwhelm you, to inflame you, to do anything other than look at the evidence in this case or lack thereof. Now, the neglect case was very serious. It was wrong, but it was not abuse. And it does not explain what happened in this case. Well, what it does explain is how the medical providers were so quick to conclude that Alexavier had been abused in the femur fracture incident. And I won't dwell too much on that because Kevin's lawyer didn't talk about it too much, but just to be clear about that, the medical expert who looked at this femur fracture, who was most qualified to make an opinion about it, he said that this was 100% not abuse. Doctors don't speak in such certain terms unless they know something is true. And that was true. And Dr. Peterson knew that. And that was why he was so certain. And these other concerning conditions that I think the nurse was reasonably concerned about, and Dr. Glowacki, who you heard from, reasonably concerned about, those were found out to be not fractures, those were developmental conditions. But they look like fractures on an x-ray. And so the providers were concerned, reasonably. But the facts turned out not to support their concerns. And again, the only qualified expert that we heard from says that that was not abuse. And it was reasonable to believe him. But we saw through that femur fracture incident how suspicion immediately became conclusions. And that is the problem in cases like this, because we're talking about very difficult subjects, and it's hard not to get very angry about this. But anger clouds our judgment, and it clouds our ability to critically examine the evidence. And that's what we're here to do. So, touching once more on the second point, which is that the medical science does not prove murder in this case. In fact, it suggests otherwise. Overdose is a possible cause of death. Injuries that were not inevitably going to cause death. Injuries that do not reflect an intent to kill. That's all testimony that you heard from the medical experts. You heard that there was no fatal head trauma, no strangulation, and the blood loss was not a fatal amount. And you heard that alprazolam was crucial to the finding of the cause of death. None of the experts qualified could conclude that there was an intent for Alexavier to die. There was toxicology, again, showing highly elevated levels of alprazolam. This is not disputed. That was enough to kill an adult and certainly enough to cause a child's death. But here's the other point that's very important, is that this was a gradual process. And that reflects not a sudden, violent, homicidal rage. That is a gradual process, and sadly, it's consistent with overdose in this case. And the blood loss numbers, again, not sufficient to cause death. Those were not injuries that were inevitably going to lead to death. You had effectively 1/15 of the total amount of blood volume lost when you have to reach approximately 33% to start going into shock. And so these are awful, but they were not the types of injuries that would inevitably lead to someone dying. So again, the medical science contradicts the state's murder theory, and it points toward overdose. So I'll move on to a very important issue in this case before getting to the elements, which is the witnesses that you heard from and determining their credibility. You have Derek, Lorley, Major, Brantley, and children's statements filtered through adults. And you heard the statement, do you like getting your ass beat, whether you punched or kicked the children? I don't think so. Derek testified that he couldn't control his violence. So let's talk about Derek Pedron's credibility. We've heard about all of the violence. Indisputably, he was deceptive throughout the investigation. He was shown to be manipulative, chronic liar, an alcoholic addict. And there was this sham marriage with Lorley, which we heard about from Misty Craig. And he lied about the timeline. We'll get to that. The timeline of when he got home that night, the night before Alexavier died. But let's just take some basic impressions from that testimony, because there were so many lies, it was very difficult to categorize and catalog them. But here's a figure that I think tells you all you need to know. When he was asked questions on his direct, questions that were designed to make Josie look bad, he was very certain. He was certain of his answers. When asked questions that would have made Josie look good in any way, he testified, I don't recall, 130 times or more. If you're telling the truth, you do not have to remember what you told other people. And you experience this, having to go in and out. Well, Pedron had to constantly be reminded of what he had said on a video recording or an audio recording or something else, just to remind him, yes, that's what you said. You remember that? Again, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. And then we had Misty Craig, who testified very reluctantly. I don't know about you, but she looked like another victim of Derek Pedron. Well, in fact, she testified that she was, because this was the Derek Pedron who was the abusive thug staring at her from the gallery. And she testified reluctantly, but she acknowledged that Derek said that he would cut her fucking head off and send it to her mother if she testified about the trial. And he said that he fucked up by telling her about the marriage to Lorley being related to this very trial. And then we had Justin Bolito. Thank God for Justin Bolito, the Good Samaritan that was watching this trial on TV like many others are. And he was so astounded and outraged by Pedron's lies, open lies on the stand, that he reached out to us to set the record straight. He did not want to get involved in this. That is the last thing he wanted to get involved. But he was so troubled by the lies about Derek claiming he never used Xanax that he put himself into this, understanding that he could be put through the ringer. And boy, that is true. You saw the government's lawyer go up and just trash him and berate him with accusations that, let's put it this way, must have come from Pedron without verification. That's all I'll say about that. But what the government lawyer didn't attack was Justin's testimony about Derek Pedron using Xanax. never attacked the veracity of that. Apparently, according to the prosecution, this young man was engaged in some big grudge against Pedron for terminating his employment at the car wash in some sort of epic bid to regain his minimum wage employment at ShipShape. Is that realistically something that people would want to do to insert themselves into a trial like this because they want to get their job back to work under Derek Pedron? There's a law school saying that if you don't have the facts, you pound the law. And if you don't have the law, you pound the facts. And if you don't have either, you pound the table. We saw a lot of table pounding in this trial, did we not? Now, again, if Derek Pedron was willing to lie about these things, what makes us think that he wouldn't lie about his responsibility for Alex Xavier's death? You have to rule out, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Pedron was the source of the Xanax. He admitted it. You have to rule out that Pedron was the source of the injuries. We know that they could have occurred at the time when Derek was alone with Alex Xavier. We know that. And we know that Derek lied on the stand. Now, a reasonable doubt is a doubt that would cause you to pause or to hesitate and called upon to act in the most important affairs of life. And so what are the most important affairs of life that we all go through at some point? Whether to choose a partner, where to live, educational decisions, financial decisions, medical decisions, buying a house. Well, forget buying a house. Would anyone buy a used car from Derek Pedron? And how about Brantley and Major? The testimony fell well below reasonable doubt. But the government is not trying to sell us all a used car, sell you a used car. They're trying to sell you someone's freedom. That is why this is so serious and important, that this is taken, this is analyzed carefully, cautiously. So let's talk about the children's testimony. There's not a question about whether those children are sympathetic. Of course they are. But the question is reliability. The question is whether we can rely on their testimony in a trial for first-degree intentional homicide. The state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that these children weren't coached. The state must also prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they did not lie under oath repeatedly. And they also must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that these children were so consistent, so credible, that their testimony can be relied on in this very homicide trial. What did we hear from the children? Again, the same habit of answering certain questions with confidence that made Josie look bad, but anything that made her look good in any way was met with a, I don't know. Now, this is something that I don't know if everyone caught when Brantley was testifying. Well, she was calling Josie, Mom Josie a lot. That was the name that he used instead of Mom. He said, Josie did this, Josie did that. But at one point, he answered, our mom. And then he immediately corrected himself. He corrected his own testimony and said, Josie. Now ask yourselves, does that sound natural, or is that something he was taught to say? And he apologized. He apologized to Pedron in the middle of his testimony, and he was asked about that when he came back onto the stand. And he said he apologized to his dad for lying. So he admitted he lied on the stand. But what did he say that he apologized to his dad about? He apologized to his dad for not telling the jury, for not telling you that his dad was an alcoholic, basically, that he used alcohol. That was what he said. I'm sorry that I didn't tell him that you used alcohol. Now ask yourself, does that make sense? Do you think that he was apologizing for making his dad look good in the eyes of the jury? Or is it that he let slip something he was told not to say? When you have competing inferences and competing doubts, the jury instruction tells you very clearly that you must resolve every reasonable doubt in favor of Josie. And that is the rule that you will need to apply when you're in the jury room. And again, bringing it back to that 2022 911 call, where Josie reported this assault from Pedron regarding the ground beef. And she said Derek repeatedly punched her in the throat and strangled her, and that he did the same thing to Alex, and that he was teaching his son to lie. That is as reliable as you can get. That occurred at the time, not in preparation for this trial. And that's important. You can consider that. And so let's talk about Brantley's testimony about the femur injury or the supposed kick down the stairs. So he says apparently he was not talking about what caused the fracture, that this happened after Alex Xavier had broken his leg. And you must ask, is that consistent at all with the evidence? Now, there was no certainty of the exact day, and we can't rely on his dates, but let's just look at the evidence that we have, the objective evidence about that injury. There was a follow-up appointment with Gunderson, where he was found to be healing well. Dr. Glowacki checked in, make sure that happened, and Josie took him to the follow-up appointment, and he was doing well. And then Sarah Wagner-Barton, the CPS worker, she did a home visit. She came through the house. Now, first she talked to the medical staff, and the medical staff had no concerns about Josie. And she also found that the kids were in good spirits and that she found no immediate safety concerns. But there was another little detail in that report of her talking with Alex and the family at Gunderson, where she said that Alex did tell her that Dad would spank. And moving on, Ms. Wagner-Barton then went to do the site visit at the house, and she went through and she saw that the kids were being well cared for. They had all of their basic needs met. She had no concerns. Alex was doing well. He was proud of his cast. He was healing well. And that tells you that he was still healing well. He hadn't re-injured his femur. And then we do have the autopsy report. And there was no evidence that his femur injury had been aggravated. So the objective evidence contradicts this idea that Josie kicked this child down the staircase, and we saw that staircase. That thing was a death trap. And just to reiterate, the staircase condition was dangerous, but Josie was a renter. Shame on that landlord for allowing them to live in that condition. A tenant cannot be expected to just install railings or put walls alongside a staircase, finish a basement. That is not within their capacity. And so that is something that cannot be held against Josie. Now let's talk about Major Hellerud and his testimony. And the issue there is that you saw his testimony evolved as contrary facts got in the way. Reliable memories do not shift every time they are tested. And again, if you're telling the truth, you don't have to remember what happened. So you had the changing bedroom account, where Major's story changed as the facts developed. First, he saw this attack supposedly in Josie's bedroom through from his bedroom into hers. But then he was confronted with the fact that there was a curtain up. And so he said the curtain wasn't always there, or it wasn't always up. And then when he testified at trial, it became, he actually walked into the room. How can we know? None of those all cannot be true. And you can disregard that testimony because you have to determine whether it is precise proof that you can rely upon. And then you had this implausible testimony where Major said that Alex soiled himself because his mom would let him go to the bathroom. Now, does that make sense that Josie would make a child soil himself so that she would just then have to clean up herself? That makes no sense. And then you saw the delayed appearance of this other serious allegation about the bending of the leg back while choking, which is how he mimicked it in the interview. And this was not mentioned in the first interview, but it appeared only after he had discussions with family and reappeared. But then he testified at trial to the opposite facts, that somehow this was a bending backwards. And this was a completely implausible mechanism for injury. So this was implausible, and it changed over time. And we all know that we show that evidence suggests that the family discussed the case with Major. And there were concerns about coaching. And so the pattern was, Major remembered dramatic accusations, but when he was confronted with inconsistencies and prior statements and specifics, his response became, I don't remember. Again, how many times did he not remember? 137 times. He remembered the accusations, but not the contradictions. And the law requires testimony that is so consistent, so credible, that no innocent explanation could be true. So, does that mean you should not rely on anything that children say? Well, think about the example of a big pot of stew that you're making for the family. And somehow a big piece of rotten meat goes into that stew. Would you still keep the stew? Would you eat it? Or would you throw it away and start again? That is why you cannot rely on these statements as precise proof of the allegations in this case. We know the state itself is uncertain. We heard that from the lead investigators. But we also know because of the charges in this case. We see how the government added charges in the very middle of the case. That's why you have a new option here for reckless homicide. Because the state is trying to throw everything that they can against the wall and see what is going to stick. They need something to stick. But let's talk about the first count, intentional homicide. The state must have precise proof of causation. And if overdose is an explanation, there is no causation. If injury is insufficient to cause death, that is not causation. So what do we not have here? We have no motive, we have no eyewitness, and there's no DNA tie, and there's medical uncertainty, and no coherent explanation. Why would Josie suddenly become a murderer while texting with Laura Lee and phone calls with Laura Lee and text with Raphael, planning the date next morning with children? And let's talk about the timeline of that evening, the day before, February 10. Derek Pedron arrived home at 5:30. How do we know that? Not because he told us. He said he got home at 6:30. But then we found out because we had the surveillance evidence to prove that he had left the Walmart at 5:30. And why would he lie about when he arrived at the house? He thought he would get away with misleading you. And we wouldn't have found out if we hadn't looked at the footage. Perhaps the government hadn't looked at the footage. But if he's lying about the timeline, then we have to wonder, is he lying because he thinks he'll never face accountability? And we know that Alex was awake at the time Derek was around. This was something that Major certainly testified to as well. But let's just get to one detail that I think is very important here. Pedron testified that he had changed Xavier's pants. But there would be no...
That mischaracterizes the testimony. Mr. Pedron never testified that he changed. That came from the defendant.
Forgive me. There was testimony to that effect. Thank you. But there would be no reason to do that if he hadn't soiled himself. So again, we know that Xavier was up at some point, and we know that he was asleep during the welfare check. And we know from the medical experts that that would be consistent with either potentially a concussion, mild concussion, or mild alprazolam intoxication. And so that is certainly consistent with the timeline. And we know that Pedron was downstairs near him at that time, and that Derek had Xanax access. And so we know that Josie was texting about going on a date, and she slept from 3 to 9. Is that consistent with someone who knew she had just murdered a child? And again, Her behavior in the morning, it was normal. Normal texts, ordinary plans. And then a shocking discovery in CPR attempts. Immediately raising overdose as a concern. Panic. And is this consistent with somebody who just brutally murdered a child? Now, I remember we watched the interview with Josie with Lieutenant Williams. And I watched that together in the trial. And I remember watching that for the first time. And what I saw was a woman who was in shock. She was self-soothing. She appeared to be in disbelief and in grief. And it felt real to me on a physical level. This did not seem like a woman who expected for this to happen. She did not look like a woman who had just murdered a child. And so the reality of the home was that Derek dominated that environment with fear, intimidation, violence, drug use, children cowering in closets. And we have evidence of Josie's relationship with Alex Xavier. She communicated with the school regularly. She wanted to make sure that he was able to celebrate his birthday because he had a summer birthday and didn't want him to feel left out from the other kids who could celebrate their birthdays. She wrote to the teacher to make sure that Alex Xavier, she was concerned he was getting bullied. And so she wanted to make sure that Alex Xavier is not being bullied. Is that a woman who had callous disregard for this child's safety? Is that something, if you had just this murderous rage for this child, that you would do something like that? She wanted to make sure that his winter gloves fit properly, that he had water, that he had toys, that he had Happy Meals, having him sleep next to her in bed, taking him to doctor visits, making sure that he had badger care so that he could have dental care, when his dad had simply just tried to take a cap and shove it back into his mouth. And then we saw the Walmart video, where Josie made sure that his sister went and got him a sucker. She wanted Alex to have a sucker too, so he didn't feel left out. She cared for Alex, like her own son. And again, does this seem like someone who had hidden homicidal rage for a child? This death was tragic, but it was not intentional. So count two, we see a contradictory theory where either she intentionally or recklessly killed him, but if you don't believe that, then she negligently caused his death. And you must find three separate acts of criminal neglect, not just careless or something that could have been done differently. Neglect, criminal neglect, and causation. And to prove causation on count two, you have to believe, the government has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Josie knew where Derek had put the Xanax in that household. Now, there is no proof that Josie knew there was still Xanax in that house. Derek was connected to the drugs, but there's no proof that she controlled the Xanax or even knew where it was. Now, Derek was an addict facing arrest. The simplest assumption or conclusion is that he either took it or flushed it. She would not know what he would have done with it while she was dealing with Sergeant Kernine. You cannot negligently fail to secure something you don't know is there. And if Derek caused the injuries were not obviously fatal to somebody who would observe Alex Xavier. There was no proof that Josie knew that his death was somehow imminent. Tragically, abuse had been normalized inside this home. Now, hindsight cannot replace proof. And this is an attempt to get the jury to reach a compromise verdict. And if you don't believe the other theories, then you can settle on this one. But the law doesn't permit compromise when the evidence does not support chronic criminal neglect. And so let's go to count three, repeated abuse and abuse causing death, that Josie failed to prevent abuse or caused abuse. Now, the major failures of this count are that, again, overdose is not ruled out. Injuries not proven to be fatal. And Derek, as the source of those injuries, not ruled out. And in terms of the failure to prevent any of that, they have to show a capability to intervene or a capability of doing something that would have prevented future harm. Now, let's talk about the bathroom incident. Derek goes into the bathroom with Alex Xavier and closes the door and locks it. She thinks he heard Alex Xavier, but she doesn't know exactly what happened. What's she supposed to do? Kick down the door, physically overpower this person who has abused her repeatedly, or call police at that moment? Calling police has never worked before. Calling the police would not protect her or Alex because Derek would get out every single time and the beatings would only increase. And again, remember that 911 call where she did report Derek hurting Alex and teaching him to lie? What happened after that? He got out and immediately battered her again. Calling the police would not have caused or prevented, or would not have prevented future harm. We know that restraining orders wouldn't stop him. Nothing would stop him. So, before I sit down, I want to share some final thoughts. Because when I sit down after this, the government's lawyer has the last word because the government has the burden of proof here. So I just want to say thank you for sitting through what has been a painful trial. We could not do this without you. You were doing it, and you were doing it the right way. This case is heartbreaking. A young child died under horrific circumstances. Alex Xavier should have had a future. He should have had an opportunity to become something other than his father. And sadly, that opportunity was taken from him. And if I were sitting where you're sitting right now, I would want to punish someone for what happened to Alex Xavier. I would want that. Anyone with a conscience would want that. But the person who deserves that punishment is not on trial today. And I ask you not to convict Josie for her abuser's crime. Because the law requires justice. And And justice is not vengeance. Vengeance is easy. Vengeance says a terrible thing happened and somebody must pay for it, even if the proof is uncertain. Justice is much, much harder. Justice requires discipline. Justice requires understanding when there's no uncertainty, even when it's emotionally unsatisfying. Justice requires understanding that sometimes the evidence doesn't provide a neat, complete answer. But does it achieve justice to rely on an investigation that searched only for evidence of Josie's guilt? Does it achieve justice when the medical science does not support the government's murder theory or its allegations of count 3? And does it achieve justice when there remain multiple reasonable explanations that are consistent with Josie's innocence? It is up to you alone as jurors to determine that. Now, your duty is not to the defense, not to the prosecution, not to public opinion, emotion, or sympathy. Your duty is to the law and to your own conscience. And to be able to walk out of this courtroom without ever having to wonder whether you may have convicted an innocent person. And if you have that doubt, then you have your answer. Not guilty on all counts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to go, Your Honor, or do you want me to?
Do we need a break for 5-10 minutes, or do you want to go ahead? Like, everybody's ready to go ahead? Let's go ahead.
Oh, I guess they're going to.
Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, my favorite jury instruction is the burden of proof, because it says exactly what your job is. Your job is not to search for doubt. Your job is to search for the truth. What you just heard was the smoke show continue that Josie started, the defendant started with her testimony. Look at all these other things, but how much of what the defense argued focused on the 2 days involving Alex Xavier's death? Heck, how many times did you hear the name Alex or Alex Xavier during their comments? They brought up the 2011 and 2013 other acts as if that was the entirety of what the state relied on. The state's argument regarding those was less than 5 minutes, and the state's argument regarding those told you exactly what the law says on how to use it. They're the ones that brought up using it improperly. I want to talk first about the accusation about the investigation in this case, and that there was tunnel vision associated with this defendant, because nothing could be further from the truth. The defense gave the example of a puzzle that is missing pieces. There was a puzzle with missing pieces in this case, but it was the defendant that was taking those pieces away from the. When they responded that day, they were first responders trying to save Alex's life. They performed CPR on Alex's body. In the efforts of trying to perform CPR on Alex's body, they moved the pill container. They put it on the bed. They touched it. When this case was first being investigated, it was being investigated as an overdose. That pill container was sent out to the crime lab to see if it had Alex Xavier's DNA on it. Why? Because law enforcement was looking to see if this was, in fact, an overdose, just like the defendant said. That's why they sent it out looking for Alex Xavier's DNA. They were investigating it as an overdose. If you look at the first search warrants in this case, which was brought up, the first search warrants were looking at child neglect resulting in death because they were looking at it as a potential overdose where drug exposure happened in the home. Is that pointing the finger at this defendant? No, that's keeping an open mind. You heard that the defendant willingly gave over her cell phone. You saw the video. Investigator Williams said, we're going to get a search warrant for your phone. She knew they were going to get a warrant for her phone. It was with that information that she turned it over. But the defense paints it like it was a voluntary, here's my phone, here's my passcode, look at whatever you want. That's not what she did. And don't let them portray it that way to you. Law enforcement did investigator search warrants for her accounts, Google, Facebook. But they also did them for Mr. Pedrin. They were also examining him as a potential suspect. You heard that they did search warrants for her and for Mr. Pedrin. But it was this defendant's words to investigators originally, and this is important. That morning, she said that Alex Xavier was asleep the entire time that Mr. Pedrin was home. Alex Xavier was asleep the entire time that Mr. Pedrin was home. Why is that important at that stage of the investigation? Because the autopsy is done on February 13th, and that's where they see all the internal injuries. Based on the internal injuries, they now know that this is a child abuse case. That it's a severe child abuse case. But what the defense doesn't want you to know is that the investigators are relying on her word during this portion of the investigation. Her word is that Alex Xavier was asleep during that time frame when Mr. Pedrin was home. And so what does that mean? That narrows the suspects. Mr. Pedrin couldn't have committed the child abuse according to her words. And so they have now lost probable cause to get a search warrant for his phone. But they don't tell you that. And so they continue to investigate. They have the internal injuries. They have the forensic interviews of the children. And the forensic interviews of the children, in all of the forensic interviews, not one of the children ever says that Mr. Pedrin does any form of child abuse to any of them. A riot, no child abuse by Derek Pedrin. Brantley, no child abuse by Derek Pedrin. Major, no child abuse by Derek Pedrin. But they all point the finger at this defendant alone. Those children were in two separate homes, and they talk about hitting, kicking, and choking by this defendant. That's magnificent coaching by some power from above that children in different homes can magically say the same thing unless that's what happened. And so now they are looking at this defendant for child abuse because this defendant's own children say she's a child abuser. And then they get the toxicology results and they have a conversation with Mr. Pedrin. And I want you to think about what Mr. Pedrin says regarding the toxicology results. I buy Xanax. He's admitting that he illegally purchases Xanax. He's admitting that he illegally purchases Xanax for her. And who has the phone? The only phone with a text message that comes back to Xanax. This defendant. Text message to her mother saying, do you want to try a Xanax? What does that message tell you? She has Xanax, she possesses Xanax, and she's willing to give it out to someone else if they want to try it. Now, she's had the benefit of listening to everyone testify. She's had the benefit of seeing that text message and knowing it's going to come into evidence and having to come up with an excuse for it. And how much did you hear that she was prepared? She initially said that she prepped every week since being charged in this case for the moment that she was on the stand. Think about when she was charged with the offense and she got a copy of the criminal complaint and it mentions the child abuse and it mentions the Xanax for the first time. She knows about the results. Who's the first person she calls in this world? Mr. Pedrin. What does she say to him? I love you. Repeatedly. I love you. Do you love me? I want to talk to the children. And what does Mr. Pedrin say? He allows her to talk to the children. You heard arguments from the defense about the theory of the case. The theory of the case. Investigative Sergeant Rich Amundsen testified that Mr. Pedrin is still a suspect. What do you know about this case? You know he was bringing Xanax into the home. Heck yeah, he's still a suspect. You know he committed child neglect. Heck yeah, he's still a suspect. There's nothing that Investigative Sergeant Amundsen said that is not true. But they want you to believe that because he's a suspect in those things, he's a suspect in the abuse and death. That's not what was said. They were asked if he was still a suspect, and the answer is yes. To neglect, to delivering Xanax to her. And you're asked about a working theory of the case. You heard the theory of the case, not from Investigator Williams, who was removed from the case after doing a few months' work on it, is obviously upset about being removed from the case and hasn't done any work on it since, but you did hear a complete theory of the case from the investigator that's been on it ever since. Let's talk a little bit about the DNA evidence because the defense wants to make a big deal about that DNA evidence, right? You didn't test the bag that belongs to this defendant. You didn't test the pill container that belongs to this defendant. It was tested. It was tested for Xavier's DNA. And then when they went back and watched the body cam, they saw CPR being performed. And then they saw those containers being moved. That's Xavier's DNA being transferred to those containers. The bag is her bag. Of course it's going to have her DNA on it. What they didn't explain and what they can't explain because it demonstrates her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt is that bag coming down and being put on the floor. Is that pill container being emptied out? Is that pill container being used to stage an overdose? And what did that buy this defendant? It bought her time. It bought her time that day because the investigators allegedly looked at the scene and said, this does look like an overdose. But then they started putting the pieces together. They started looking at the evidence because what they didn't know when they responded to that scene was all the internal injuries that Xavier had before he was administered those drugs. When you know those injuries and you know how severely this child was abused, when you know that in the context of this bag and a child having to open that container, and when you know that the pills were dumped in that bag, you know it's staged. The defense also keeps throwing out overdose, as if that's what the medical examiner said in this case. The practice of medicine involves differential diagnosis. It involves looking at the entirety of the facts in the picture. If you look at just the pills and the toxicology results in this case, it's consistent with overdose. That was the question. But you have to look at it in the context of a beaten and battered child who is then drugged, who is then given the amount that could kill an adult human being. Who is given an amount that's going to result in that child being unconscious and dying within hours. That completely removes Mr. Pedrin. There's only one person in the world who had the ability to administer drugs to that child, this defendant. There's only one person who had the ability to abuse that child without anyone else knowing about it. That's this defendant. There were other children in the home. Mr. Pedrin was there. She said Mr. Pedrin couldn't have done it originally. It was only after being charged at trial that she says, this is what I heard in the bathroom. But you also know that didn't happen because you know how severe those injuries are and you know how symptomatic Alex Xavier would have been. A fractured rib, the lacerated liver, bleeding into his mesentery. You saw the photographs of all of his injuries. You heard that law enforcement had contact with him and saw none of that. You heard that Laura Lee heard a voice of a child that was okay at 10:30 at night. Dr. Quinton testified that both the injuries and the toxicology in his system were substantial factors to his death. So no, it's not correct that if you rule out toxicology as an overdose, and if you look at just the pill matters, that this isn't a homicide. That is not what Dr. Quinton said. And the other forensic pathologist, the one who didn't write a report, if we're going to criticize law enforcement for not writing a report during a meeting with somebody, what about their forensic pathologist who didn't write a report with all of his findings and conclusions? It was left to me asking questions, only to find out that his opinion is that an adult abused a child, that he would have been symptomatic rather quickly as a result of those injuries, and that with that amount of toxicology of Xanax in his system, he would have been unconscious and dying within a few hours. That was their expert's testimony that he couldn't bother to put in paper despite being paid $12,000. Why? The defense screams. The instructions that you have in front of you say that the state does not have to explain motive. And don't let them put that on the state. That is not the state's responsibility. The state's responsibility is to prove facts and evidence. And the facts and the evidence are that this defendant brutally beat a child and then administered Xanax. There's only one person in the world that could stage that scene, to bring that bag down, to empty the pill container, to put it by the body, to buy more time. Those who have nothing to fear have nothing to hide. Who's the person who's been hiding things and concealing things since the very beginning of this case? Whose testimony wasn't even commented on by the defense? This defendant. If children get something wrong on the stand, they're inconsistent. If children are too consistent, they can't be believed. That's also what was argued in this case. What kind of world do we live in where we can attack a child no matter what they say in a courtroom? It's just never going to be good enough. Because child abuse is a crime that happens behind closed doors, and if it's children that witness it, too bad, so sad. No matter what, they just can't be believed, even when they're that consistent. Those who have nothing to fear have nothing to hide. This defendant has hid a lot. Tell her that you see her. Tell her that you see her for who she is. Tell her that you know what she did to Alex Xavier. Tell her she's guilty.
Thank you, Mr. Torgerson. So, ladies and gentlemen, carefully consider the closing arguments of the attorneys, but arguments and conclusions and opinions are not evidence. Draw your own conclusions from the evidence and decide upon your verdict according to the evidence and upon the instructions given to you by this court. You are to decide this case fairly and impartially, without fear or favor and without passion or prejudice. You are to decide only whether Josie Dikeman is guilty or not guilty of the offenses charged. Any consequence of the verdict are matters for the court alone to decide, and you must not must not affect your deliberations. Now, the following 8 forms of verdict will be submitted to you concerning the charges against Josie Dikeman. In count one reading is, we, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. The second reading, we, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of first-degree reckless homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. The third reading, we, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of second-degree reckless homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. The fourth reading, we, the jury, find Josie Dikeman not guilty of count 1 of the information. Okay. Another reading, or count 2, another reading, we, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of chronic neglect of a child. Consequence is death as charged in count 2 of the information. Another reading is, we, the jury, find that Josie Dikeman not guilty of chronic neglect of a child. Consequence is death as charged in count 2 of the information. Count 3, one reading, we, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death as charged in count 3 of the information. If you find Josie Dikeman guilty, you must answer the following questions. Did at least one violation cause the death of the child? Yes or no? To answer yes, you must all agree on the violation that caused death. If you answer no, you should consider the following question. Did at least one violation result in great bodily harm to Alex Xavier Pedron? Yes or no? To answer yes, you all must agree on the violation that caused great bodily harm. The final reading, it's on the second page. We do not find Josie excuse me, we, the jury, find Josie Dikeman not guilty of physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death as charged in count 3 of the information. I just point that out because it's on a separate page in the verdict you'll be given. It is for you to determine whether Josie Dikeman is guilty or not guilty of each of the offenses charged. You must make a finding as to each count of the information. Each count charges a separate crime, and you must consider each one separately. Your verdict for the crime charged is one count must not affect your verdict on any other count. This is a criminal, not a civil case. Therefore, before the jury may return a verdict which may legally be received, the verdict must reach unanimously. In a criminal case, all 12 jurors must agree in order to arrive at a verdict. When you retire to the jury room, select one of your members to preside over your deliberations. The presiding juror's vote is entitled to no greater weight than the vote of any other juror. If you need to communicate with the court while you're deliberating, send a note through the bailiff signed by the presiding juror. To have a complete record of this trial, it's important that you communicate with the court only by written note. If you have questions, the court will talk to the attorneys before answering, so it may take some time. You should continue your deliberations while you wait for an answer. The court will answer any questions in writing or orally here in open court. When you agreed upon your verdict, have it signed, dated by the person you have selected to preside. After you have reached a verdict, your presiding juror will notify the bailiff that your verdict has been reached. Everyone will return to the courtroom. The verdict will be read into the record in open court. The court may ask each of you if you agree with the verdict. So at this point in time, we're going to swear the officers. No, we'll do the alternates after we swear the court officers.
Do you swear that you will, to the best of your ability, keep all jurors sworn on this trial together in some private and convenient place until they have reached their verdict or are discharged by the court, and that you will not, before they have rendered their verdict, communicate to any person the state of their deliberations or the verdict they have agreed upon?
All right, at this time, we'll select the alternates. The two numbers, because today is May 14th, 5 and 14. By the way, your names are randomly given different numbers, 1 to 14, so I don't even know what that is. There's two random numbers here. Who are the two alternates? And rather than their names, if we could use initials, 5 and 14. Initials.
NK.
Is there only one NK here? NK? Nobody's NK? Okay. Okay.
WM.
WM. Okay. So we have the two. So the two alternates, what I'm going to do is have all of you go on out. The two alternates, if you could meet me in my office, we have a couple minutes to do some things, but I want to talk to you for a moment. Oh, thank you. Please leave your instructions there. I will gather them, we'll bring some back, and we'll also bring you the verdicts. Thank you. All right, everybody may be seated. Some minor detail just occurred to me is tomorrow we have a different bailiff coming for one of the bailiffs, so we'll have to swear that bailiff in. My question is, we should do that on the record when they get here. Parties can be there, obviously, for the swearing. I would do that at 8:30 tomorrow. Well, as soon as they came up with the jury. We just have we have a different bailiff tomorrow. So somebody can come up to represent the parties. Not everybody has to be here necessarily, but just so you know. I'll ask them to show up at 8:30, and as soon as they're all here, we'll ask them to hold off, and then once the jurors or the bailiff is sworn, we can start. Does that sound like a way to deal with that, Mr. Tobin said? That just occurred to me that's an issue tomorrow.
Yeah, we can make that work.
Okay. Then the other, first of all, was there any problem with how I did the final reading of the jury instructions, Mr. Tobin said? No. Mr. Zacher. My usual practice is not to send any exhibits back. If they ask about an exhibit, I'd probably end up calling you and asking you what you feel about it going back. Give us numbers so we can reach you. I initially start with a call. If we need more of a hearing, we'll bring everybody in. The other thing is we're telling the jurors that they can go to about 5:30 tonight. We will break and have them come back tomorrow morning, as I think I said. I'm not sure I said this, but that's what our intention is. 5:30 to 6, whenever they want to break.
Judge, is your intention that if we get close to 5:30 to come on the record and dismiss them, or are you going to dismiss them without coming back?
I will put it on the record.
Okay.
And so we do need somebody available between 5:30 and 6 if they feel like they need that break. If we find out otherwise, we'll let you know. But anything further from the state?
No.
Anything further, Mr. Zachary?
Judge, I do have to put objections to the state's rebuttal on the record here. Once more, the concern is burden shifting when the explicit language is what the defendant didn't explain and expecting a response or an explanation from Ms. Dikeman's side of the case. Additionally, we're going to object to mischaracterizing when the state indicated that all three children said that Ms. Dikeman abused Alex Xavier. It's arguable even with two of them, but Araya in particular said nothing of the sort.
Okay. I may change my practice and do. So 160 after, because I think that addresses that issue somewhat, which is when you do 160, you say, rely on the evidence. Now, just so you know, I'm not making any comment about it, but what I'm trying to say is that if there's, because rebuttal happens, no, you can't respond. If there's evidence which is not in the record, that tells the jury, hey, you're supposed to disregard it if it's not there. So I think you have to put the objections on the record. That's clear. But I'll note those objections. I'm not going to do anything at this point with the jury in deliberation. So thank you, Judge.
Just for the record, the forensic video of Araya talked about soap in the mouth, and I would consider that a form of potential abuse, especially from a non-parent doing it. But so she did make that statement during her forensic.
Okay. All right. Give us numbers. Like I said, we'll let them deliberate for a while, and hopefully we'll let you know if something happens. Thank you.
Do you want to write yours?
I'm always up in the middle of the night, so.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Oh, shoot. Let me give this to them.
What is just our copy?
Yeah.
Do we stay here?
Stay relatively close. And, I will need you back at 5:30. Yeah, I do. I can't get out of the enclosure here. Yeah.
Okay, y'all, I think on this recording, I'm just gonna go into today because they're doing recording or they're watching some forensics and the jury wants to see some things. So they're just letting everyone look. So today they sent everybody home at 5:30 and they said, I was watching the way she's walking. They sent everybody home at 5:30. So it's the next day. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's remove this. Stop sharing that. Stop sharing. I hope I can still do a, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So here's today. Okay, let's pause that. We can watch it up until the live ends or until I get to where it's live. Because we can watch the just what has already been done. So let's do that. And then I gotta revise the my description that we went into today. So, okay, here we go. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
and Emily Rude appear for the state. Also present at state's council table is Investigative Sergeant Rich Amundsen. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge. Ms. Dikeman appears in person with her attorneys Chris Zacher and David Bowles. Also present is paralegal Emily Sanchez.
All right. I was just told the jury just got here. They wanted 15 minutes before we start the videos, but we should probably talk about, again, just to get the exhibit numbers and make sure we have the right videos that they want to see. Were you able to, Attorney Rude, identify the exhibits? It's exhibit like.
Exhibit 1 would be the excerpts of the body camera from Sergeant Kerneen.
And it's all three are on that exhibit 1?
Yes, yep, there's 6 excerpts on that body camera. There's one very short one of Kerneen looking in the windows. That would be exhibit or excerpt 2 on that exhibit. Excerpt 3 is the portion that's about 2 minutes long. And then excerpt 4 and excerpt 6 are the portions where Sergeant Kerneen is in the house.
All right, is 4 and 6 the two where Xavier, he goes to see Xavier?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So I think they want to see 2, 4, and 6, according to what I understand.
I think 3 is the one where we actually see Mr. Pedron. Excerpt 3 is the one we actually see in the window.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
it's.
excerpt 2 is where Sergeant Kerneen is looking in the window towards the kitchen area. I don't know that you can actually see Mr. Pedron in that portion of it.
Okay. So, yeah, I think it's then 3, 4, and 6 then. And then we probably should give timestamps about when those happen.
Yeah, and that's also on the label. So excerpt 3 is 5 minutes and 40 seconds, 7 minutes and 31 seconds.
Does it give a day, time of day, or is that just the?
No, it does not.
Okay.
You know, it's on the 10th, but it's just the timestamp of the body camera.
Okay. I think it was testified to, so that's. And then, so 5 minutes, 40 seconds to 7 minutes, 31 seconds for 3.
Yes.
And then for 4,
13:26 to 19:14.
and then for 6,
24:44 to 31:34.
and then the other 3 videos were the Brantley Majors and Araya's first forensic interviews. Those were all on the 12th, right?
Correct.
Yeah. February 12, 23. And I'll just say that we'll just play those in, whatever order you have there. I think the way we did it was we did Major Brantley's and Araya's, throughout the trial, but those are the 3 that we had done. Why don't you just keep them in that order?
Sounds good. And Major's, the video of Major's forensic interview was exhibit 59.
Okay.
Brantley's was exhibit 62. And Araya's was exhibit 66.
Okay.
How about we get up to that?
Just because this.
Go. Thanks,
Okay.
Judge.
Yeah, we can be off the record right now.
Great, take 10 minutes, Judge.
Yeah, go ahead.
10 minutes for what? You didn't do 5 minutes of work. That's a long 10 minutes, man. Dude, I ain't going to be able to do this for very long if they don't come back. Oh, there we go.
Everybody maybe see
That's
it.
why I haven't sped it up.
All the parties are present. The jury just told us they're ready to see the videos, I think. So we'll bring the jury in. Everybody maybe seated.
We're missing one, Judge. Oh, no.
No, they're all here.
Apologies, we're missing the alternates.
All right. So there was a question last night to desire to see, basically it's 6 videos, just so you know. It's so what we'll do is go ahead and play. First of all, we're going to play the body cam videos. They're shorter. These are all from February 10th, 2023. The first one is, I think it's number 3 in Exhibit 1. We're going to play, it starts at 5:40 and ends at 7:31, if you need the time. So we'll go ahead and play that.
Robert, come on down. He saw the squad, I think. Huh? I'm 90% sure that's him, but I'm not 100. I got a decent look, but all I can say is similar characteristics. I don't know his face that well. Yep, that's why I asked that. But Derek, it's a welfare check on what's the 6-year-old's name again? Huh? On Alex Xavier. Derek, I'm here for a welfare check for Alex Xavier.
Okay. So that's the first of the videos. The next video, where Officer Kernine goes into the household. This is number 4, also in Exhibit 1. Number 4 in Exhibit 1, and it's from 1326 to 1914, I believe.
No. He came in and went and smoked something. Hey, Josie.
I'm just trying
Hello.
to get my kids
Here,
situated.
can I step in? I know Derek's here and he can't be here.
I had someone else here.
Can I step
A
in to
little
talk to
bit
you?
of them.
So the reason I'm here is actually somebody called in a welfare check on Alex.
Again?
Yeah, what's Alex's phone?
Who?
Huh?
He's sleeping.
Raven did.
Oh, wow.
Can I check on him?
Well, he's sleeping if you want to peek.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
What? Yes, he does have one.
121, 126, I'm in the house.
Did you shut the door? I have cats.
I remember them getting out.
We're all keep holding so we can cover this door at the same time. George has to deal with that mail being in there.
He's been puking.
Has he?
We all just had COVID.
Oh, really?
So we think we have lingering symptoms. He's okay.
He's okay?
Yeah.
What happened to his eye?
He bumped it. He's having a hard time. He has a broken leg. And
He has a broken leg? How'd
last
that
night,
happen?
well, it happened about a month ago. Him and sister were playing on the stairs and he took the tumble, but last night.
Has he gone to the doctor for that?
Yeah, he's been he has a cast on.
Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. Alex, are you feeling okay, bud? Why's that? Don't hit that.
Don't touch his leg.
Alex, I'll turn off the light.
Tell him what.
Alex, I'm Joe. What feels bad? They just had COVID.
We all did, yeah.
And how did he hurt his eye?
He said it happened at school. He hit it on something. He said he hit it on his desk. I don't know. He came home with it Friday.
Where does he go to school?
Hinton.
Hinton?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was reaching for something out of his desk, he said.
Okay. Like, did you talk to a teacher about that?
I didn't. They usually just come into the van and we go.
Okay, because that would have bled.
It was just a little scrape. He's been taking at it.
Alex.
Alex, would he talk to him and then he can go back to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
He already had his mouth on. His head hurt, so he's tired. Lay down.
121, 126. Why don't you just come in on multitasking in here? Okay, so obviously I'd still like to check on him, but we have to address the Derek thing. He's on felony bond. I can't let that go. Literally,
Okay, well, he's not here, so you guys can go.
My only other option would be to apply for a warrant for the house.
Then you can do that. I know my rights. I have a lawyer.
Okay, I understand that, but I'm also not pulling your leg about that. Derek can't be here when you're here.
I understand that. I'm the one who asked for the no contact.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then who is it that's here? Can I confirm that it's not
here
Derek?
anymore. No, it was another guy I've been talking to.
Okay, and how'd he get out? Because we've been around the house. He's just coming inside now. There's only so many exits to this house. Nobody's left. Josie.
What, baby? You want to hold my hand? It's okay. They're going to leave.
Yep.
Can you guys go, please? You're scaring my kids now.
We've been outside.
I don't care. You get a warrant. Get a warrant.
Okay.
Leave out of my house.
Okay.
You're scaring my kids.
We'll be starting that process then.
All right.
And then you said he goes to Hinton, and that happened Friday?
Yeah. That's what he told me. Yeah.
Okay.
You're scaring him. Can you believe?
Okay. We'll be in touch.
It's all right.
With me not positively identifying him. So I'm going to call him. I can call the DAs and see if they want us to stick around for a warrant then. Probably be domestic DA. I'm going to go look at the list. I suppose I'll have 139 come this way too then. 121, 139.
I think this is what's going to cause her the problem.
And I'll be on this corner.
I really do.
Did he answer me?
Unfortunately. she knowingly put Alex in harm's way with having Derek there, knowing his violence.
So I'm just gonna back up and kind of point this way. I want to be able to see over there too. So I'm going to.
From Iowa.
Well, I suppose I can call Williams first. See what he thinks.
Oh God, I just belched you. Forgot I wasn't
Okay.
belching you. Sorry.
The third video is in Exhibit 1. It's number 6. Starts at 24:44 and ends at 31:34.
Appreciate it, Derek. Thank you, Derek. Hey, just step over here. You keep being cool. You can have a cigarette, okay?
Can you let him text his boss?
Yes.
Last time he didn't, and he was upset.
So, Josie,
Yeah.
we try to never connect. Again, can I step in?
Yeah, I just don't want to connect it.
Oh, shoot. You know what? Maybe right here is fine then. We try never to make things worse than they have to be. You know that. I mean, we're never here in a good situation. Sure. I just want to watch them too, but. Oh, it's just a judge wants to see Derek real quick, and then he has to come back. So it's not a big deal.
I was scared with him here. He was pretty demanding of coming back. He showed up right away.
As soon as he was released.
Yeah, but I told him no drinking. Like,
Has he been drinking since being back? Well, he was released the 7th, right?
right.
Okay.
As far as I know, no. He took his
Has
medication.
anything, like, has he?
No.
Okay. He just wanted to come back. And that's why you
He
didn't
was
want
like,
to.
I need you. I can't stay clean if I were you.
Where was he?
My
Was he
plan
upstairs?
is- My plan is still.
126, 121, grab a water for all of it.
I'm just going to get him water. Can I get him
I
water?
don't know if I have water in there. I have to go shopping. We're still catching up from having COVID.
A glass of water? Or a cup?
Oh, here. This is.
Oh, perfect.
Why are you up there? Get down.
Yeah, we're honestly here for Alex's welfare. Yeah, somebody had called in. How'd he get the cut above his eye?
He fell down the stairs.
No, that wasn't from that long ago. We got that one from school.
Okay. So yeah, we weren't here. We weren't trying to pick on you, but we appreciate you coming out.
Did you guys disarm my garage camera?
No. I didn't know you had one.
Yeah, I do. It's not working anymore.
Can I see it?
Oh, no, it is.
Well, I thought you were supposed to be in bed.
I'm not.
I had to get one because she gets out some, the person who keeps calling you guys for welfare checks.
Grandma?
Yeah, her daughter's in prison for helping with the baseball bat. So they keep calling for welfare checks. They're very angry with me.
Yeah. I mean, here, from a completely unbiased perspective, Josie, if I was a grandparent, I'm not. If I had a grandchild that, hey, they broke their leg, falling down the steps. Hey, they had a cut to their eye. One parent says, "Oh, they got that at school."
Boys,
Oh yeah,
because
but
they
they're
have
not
bumps
here.
and bruises all the time.
So that I'm trying to unbiasedly put myself in somebody else's shoes to understand it as best I can from their perspective. So I'd like to think that they're not calling in to be spiteful or anything like that, because there have been a couple incidents of Alex getting hurt. That's all. So I'm not here. I'm not taking Alex away tonight, anything like that. I'm just, like I said, I'm here because I'm trying to help somebody's concerns, whether or not they're legitimate or not. But I still, when the complaint is made to us, we have to. What's his full name again? I can never remember.
Xavier Pedrin. They did a full investigation. And
Okay. What do you mean for the leg?
Yeah.
What happened with that? I'm not
They did a
familiar.
full investigation. They had an investigation because of where he had the break.
Oh,
They
okay.
did a full head to toe and he was fine.
Okay. What's his middle name?
CPS was involved too. Jay.
What's the full? Is it John?
I
Or?
think it's JAY.
Oh, Jay. Okay. Sorry, I thought you meant like the initial. What's his birthday?
It's 7/10/16.
Okay. What's the best phone number for you, Josie?
608-518-6265.
How long ago did he get COVID?
Right after he got out of the hospital.
So, like a week ago, 2 weeks
It's been,
ago?
I think, about 3 weeks.
And he's still recovering from
got
that?
out, and then us two were the last to get it because the first to get it were my other kids, and then him and I got it. I think a few days after he got out of the hospital, we caught it.
Okay. And can I just look at him one more time? I just like.
It's scaring him. So can you just?
Yep, I won't shine my flashlight. I won't. Yep, I won't.
I mean, after that CPS and all the doctors hounding him, he was scared. You know. He's been trying to sneak up without his walker, so I've been trying to. That's how he gets the bumps and bruises. He's a very active boy.
Okay.
It's hard to keep.
That's good for. Yep, I hear you. I don't have multiple boys, so I don't know how they interact. So.
Going, he was like this one.
What's this guy's name again?
Brantley.
Brantley. Okay. Okay. So listen, I'm doing up a report. That's all I can say. So it's nothing. I don't see anything here that I'm taking a child from you. So obviously you knew that. I'm just reassuring you of that. Okay. So I appreciate you coming back for us because I was just on the phone about with one of.
You know, it sounds to me like she has a lot on her hands. Do you hear that little boy? He's supposed to be in bed. I'm sure they don't listen. I'm sure that little boy probably fell down the steps a couple times. I mean, listen to this child. She probably was so stressed out because the kids were so rambunctious, and she's got how many of them? 5. And then caring for other children. How many are actually hers? I don't even know.
Our investigators about obtaining a warrant, so I appreciate it, and I hope this all works out for everyone the way it should. Okay, thank you so much. Take care. Coming out.
Coming out.
Yep.
All good then, or?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the kid. Yeah. Well, I checked on him, and he does have a new little cut above his eye that he said from falling down the stairs, which is what she said from. He has a broken leg that's been investigated, cast, and then but she said that was from him. She believes he just bumped his head at school on the desk reaching for something. But, different stories. So it's possible something happened here. It's just not enough to rip him out of here tonight. And she's not exactly cooperative because of previous complaints, and maybe it was something. So.
Yeah, I think last time.
Okay. We'll next go.
And I think for as far as that cop assuming what could have happened, maybe he should wait till morning, call the school, investigate that, and see what really happened. Why are they assuming? Why are they discussing this? Because they knew that at some point, eventually, a jury would be listening to this.
To exhibit. Tell me.
$59, I think, Judge.
Yeah, that's right. Exhibit 59. It's going to be Major's Exhibit 59, just to make sure I have this all correct. Exhibit for Brantley is 62, for Araya is 66. We'll start with Exhibit 59 now.
You're gonna come right in this room right here. Yep. You can have a seat right there. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good? Okay. Well, Major, earlier I introduced myself and I let you know my name was Danielle. Oops. This marker looks like it's not working too well. All right. Do you want to write your name up there? No? Okay. Can you tell me how to spell your name?
AJOR.
All right. And Major, how old are you?
8.
8. Okay. So are you in 2nd grade or 3rd grade?
3rd.
3rd. How do you like school?
Good.
Good. All right. Well, there's a few things I want to let you know is that there are some cameras in this room that allow team members to see and hear what we're doing today. Do you have any questions on that? No? Okay. And then when we're talking, I might ask you a lot of questions. If I ask a question and you don't know the answer to it, it's okay to say, I don't know the answer. All right? Does that make sense to you? And if I ask something that doesn't make sense or you don't understand, please let me know. And sometimes I might write stuff up here to help me remember. You can also write stuff. And if I write anything or say anything wrong, please tell me and let me know, because it's really important that I understand everything correctly. Okay. Do you have any questions on that? No? Okay. Well, Major, another thing is when we're in here, we talk about things that are the truth. Do you know the difference between a truth and a lie? Yeah, what's the difference?
Truth is where you tell somebody and
Thank you very much for letting me know that. So, Major, if I said you're 8, is that the truth or a lie?
Truth.
And if I said, Major, you're 20, is that the truth or a lie?
Lie.
Okay. So do you agree that what we talk about today will be the truth?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And what happens if somebody tells a lie and an adult finds out about it? Okay. Shrug your shoulders. All right. So, Major, I've never met you before. Tell me what you like to do for fun.
Play.
Okay. What do you like to play?
Legos.
Legos. All right. Who do you like to play Legos with? Brantley. Okay. Tell me all about the last time you got to play Legos. Shrugged your shoulder? I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, Major, tell me who's in your family?
My mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandmas, and my aunt, and Jalen and Jaden.
Jalen and Jaden?
Jalen.
Do you know how to spell Jalen? Okay. Jalen and Jaden. Okay. Did I spell them right or wrong, what do you think?
Right, I think.
Okay. Anyone else in your family?
Alex.
Alex. Okay. Well, is it going to be okay to talk about Alex? Okay. Major, I want to let you know that it's okay. If you're sad or if you have tears or anything in here, that's okay. Alright? Okay. How old is Brantley?
5.
5. How old is Wella?
4.
What's mom's name?
Mom,
Mom? What do other people call her?
Josie,
Josie. Okay. What's dad's name?
Mark,
Mark. Okay. How old's Jalen?
10,
10. How old's Jaden?
Zayden,
Oh, Zayden. Thank you for correcting me. How old's Zayden?
13, I think.
And how old was Alex?
6.
6. Okay. All right. Do you know why you're here to talk with me today? No. Okay. Well, it's my job to talk with kids and find out how things are going for them, what's been going well, what maybe hasn't gone so well. So tell me, what are things like at home?
Well,
Oh, thank you very much for asking. Which house do you want to start with, mom's or dad's? Dad's, okay. So who lives at dad's house?
my dad, one of my friends, my grandpa, and my little sister, Leilani.
Oh, okay. Do you know how to spell Leilani?
No.
Okay. And how old is Leilani?
1.
Okay. So what are things like at dad's house?
Good.
Good. What's good about them?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Stretch yourself in? Okay. What kind of stuff do you get to do for fun at dad's house?
One of my favorite games is to go outside. I've been going outside to live in.
Okay. So normally for your games, when it's cold and then it's warmer, so you're going outside to play? Okay. Do you play with anyone when you're at dad's house?
Your dad.
Your dad?
My little sister, Leilani.
And your little sister, Leilani. How often are you at dad's house?
Not much.
Not much? Okay. Do you ever get in trouble at dad's house? No? What happens at dad's house if someone does something and gets in trouble?
Time out.
Time out? Okay. Who gives you a time out, or who gives anyone a time out, I should ask?
Dad.
Yeah? Okay. How long are your time outs? 5 minutes?
And I need to,
Okay.
but she gets up.
She does, huh? Okay. Where do you have to go for a timeout?
Corner.
Do you ever get hits or spankings or anything like that? No. Okay. Does anyone ever yell at you at dad's house?
No.
No. Okay. What about Leilani? Does anyone ever, give spankings or hits to Leilani?
No.
Does anyone ever yell at her? Okay. Now tell me about mom's house. You shrugged your shoulders. What does that mean? Is it okay to talk about it? Yeah. Just like any of us? Okay, so tell me about Mama's house. What? Okay, tell me more about that. What? What is it that you don't know? Is it okay to talk about it, Major? Yeah. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to say? Okay. Who owns that Mom's house?
Alex, Joel, Joey, Mom, and
Okay. Do you like it at Mom's house? She yells. Yeah. What does she yell about? What? She used to yell at Alex a lot. Did she yell at other people? No, just yelled at Alex a lot. She yelled at all of you. Okay. What kind of stuff would you do that would make Mom yell? Okay. What would Alex do that would make Mom yell? What? She only yelled at Alex?
Oh, she definitely.
All she does is yell?
No, she doesn't.
I apologize, but I'm having a hard time understanding. And so I want to make sure that I get all of your words correctly, so thank you for letting me ask. So tell me about Mom yelling at Alex.
She yells at him if he at school. She says that he can't use ranch or ketchup or any sauces on his food, and she yells at him if he does.
Okay. So you can't use ranch or ketchup on his food, you can't have any sauces, and she yells at him if he does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know why you can't use any sauces? Okay. And then would yell at him if you use sauces.
Yeah.
Okay. Are other people allowed to use sauces?
No, just in she watches out, I don't know if he talks to his friends. Or he eats.
Okay. How would mom know if you would do those things at school? That's your children? Okay. What about Alex's dad? How would he treat him?
He doesn't do anything.
He didn't do anything?
He doesn't do anything to Alex.
He doesn't do anything to Alex. What would he do when mom would yell at Alex?
He would be mad, then we took him there, he was mad.
Okay, he would get mad and they argue a lot.
But mom didn't yell at Alex in front of him.
Okay. So mom would yell at Alex in front of Derek. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Alright. Does mom ever give spankings or hits?
Yeah, to Alex,
To Alex, not you. Okay. Tell me about when mom would give spankings or hits to Alex.
when he was his ranch.
When he was his ranch.
Or talk to his friends, or stand up when he eats.
Or stand up when he eats?
Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time you saw a man give hits or spanks to Alex?
Last time I saw him.
Last time you saw him? Can you tell me all about what happened the last time you saw him?
She kicks him a lot.
She kicks him a lot? Did mom kick Alex the last time you saw him? Yeah. Where in Alex's body did he get kicked? Right here?
Sometimes.
And right here sometimes? The last time you saw Alex, did he get kicked right here? Right here? No. What would Alex do when he got kicked?
Nothing. Kicked or anything. I just okay.
Okay. And so today is Sunday. When was the last day that you saw Alex?
Right, it was like 2 days ago.
2 days.
And I was taking a runway, and then that happened.
And when that happened? What do you know about what happened?
I heard it on my phone and then I from my grandma.
Okay, what did you hear?
I heard the house stopped moving.
Okay. What do you think it was? Sad. Have there been other times when Alex stopped breathing? Tell me about the other times. Why? And Alex stopped breathing before when you were at the house?
He didn't stop anything, he was breathing after.
Okay, he didn't stop breathing?
He was breathing after.
He was breathing after. Tell me all about that. Right? You don't want to talk about that part?
Okay.
When was that? Couple days ago. Okay. Who was all around? Were the other kids there when that happened? Okay. What happened to cause Alex to stop breathing at that time? What did Mom do? You don't understand? What don't you want to say? Right? Would you know that you're not in any trouble with me? Do you know that? Okay. So what did you see that day that made Alex stop breathing? Mom, what? What did Mom do? Did you say Mom choked? Who did Mom choke? Alex. How did she choke Alex? With her hands? Okay. That day when Alex stopped breathing, when Mom choked him with her hands, on what part of Alex's body did Mom's hands touch?
Mama did that day. She done it before though.
She said when you've seen it before, what part of Alex's body did Mom's hands touch? His neck. Okay. And you said you weren't there that day. How did?
That day when I stopped breathing, because my grandma picked me up all night, and then in the morning I went on the phone.
Okay. So that day when you stopped breathing, you went there because your grandma picked you up.
At the night.
At night. Okay, but you had seen Mom choke Alex before. Okay. When was the last time you saw Mom choke Alex?
Couple days ago.
Okay. Was it a school day when you saw Mom choke Alex?
Can't remember.
You don't remember?
She only does it when my dad is gone.
She only does it when Alex's dad is gone? Okay. Does Alex do something for Mom to choke him?
He gets up in the night and then he gets snacks because he's hungry.
Okay. Does Alex eat during the day?
Yeah, but he puts hot sauce in his food.
She puts hot sauce in his food? Does Alex like the hot sauce? Does he eat a lot of the food when he has hot sauce in it?
And then makes him eat all of it.
She makes him eat all of it? Okay. And then he gets up in the night and gets snacks because he's hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What does Mom do when he gets up in the middle of the night?
And she found out in the morning. Sometimes
Sometimes she chokes him and sometimes she what?
Kicks a lot.
Kicks him a lot. Okay. Tell me all about how Alex broke his leg.
I don't think Uriah did it.
You don't think Uriah did it? What do you think happened?
I think Uriah broke it because his leg was hurting before that, and he had to lean on something before that.
Okay.
Before I pushed him down.
Okay. So what makes you think your mom did it?
Because he had to lean on something before I pushed him down.
Okay. Did Alex ever talk to you about what happened?
No, my mom doesn't let him talk to anybody.
She doesn't want to talk to you. Okay. Does mom treat anyone else like she treats Alex?
No, just Alex.
Okay.
Oh my God, these are, oh my God. Oh, Josie, I don't know, man, you might be in prison for the rest of your natural life, my friend. I thought they weren't going to let this be used because children can easily be provoked, like talked to. Somebody could have said something before, like he said in his closing argument. I don't know. I don't know. This is why I don't get in trouble.
Just taking a minute to think. Are there other things that I haven't asked you about yet?
She used to station that was from with like a spatula thing.
Okay. She used to spank him with the spatula thing?
Spatula. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. Does mom still spank Alex though?
No.
No. Chris kicks him a lot and hits him. Okay. So you got picked up the other night from Grandma. What was Alex doing when you were still at the house?
Mom was. I was fine.
Was everybody home when you got picked up from Grandma?
I didn't stay at Grandma's house.
Jan and Zayden stayed at her house?
Just Zayden.
Just Zayden stayed at Grandma's all the time? Okay, so then so Zayden was at Grandma's and this was, so today is Sunday, so Friday night?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, did you have school on Friday? No, okay. So what did you guys do Friday during the day?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really? Okay. Was Alex at home?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was mom at home?
Mm-hmm.
Was Alex's dad at home?
No.
Okay. Really?
Okay. Wasn't there.
Dad wasn't there. Okay. So you, Alex, mom, Raya, and Brantley. Was Jalen at home too? Jalen was there. Okay, so it's Friday, you guys are just kind of hanging out. Do you see mom do anything to Alex during the day?
No.
Then tell me, what do you see?
Choked him during the day before.
She choked him during the day before?
She steps on him.
She steps on him? And that happened on that Friday? No. Just at other times she's done that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on that Friday, what did you see mom do?
She didn't choke him on that Friday.
She didn't choke him on that.
I don't know if she did or not.
Okay. So when you got picked up by grandma to go to her house on Friday, was it like daytime, nighttime?
Nighttime, it was 8 o'clock.
It was 8 o'clock, okay. Where was Alex when grandma picked you up?
He was sitting on the couch.
He
sleeps on the couch.
Okay. Was he awake or was he sleeping?
Awake.
Awake. He was awake on the couch. Was he talking? Yeah. What kind of stuff was he saying? You're alive.
But so my mom is going to the covers, and then we just laid on. Okay. Next to
Showing some not doing something. Did mom give him any medicine or anything to help him take a nap?
She gives us all of these gummies.
She gives all of you gummies?
Yeah.
She gives them to you at night? Yeah. Where does she keep the gummies? You don't know? What do the gummies taste like? You don't know? Okay. Do you know what they look like? They're red. They're red? Okay. Did she buy them at the store?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Walmart? All right. On Friday before grandma picked you up, did the cops come to your house at all?
Yes. But yeah. Because Dana found out about Alex breaking his leg, and Dana told my friend called the cops and told them to check on Alex.
Okay.
But then they were going to jail. I don't know why.
Okay. What was Alex doing when the cops came?
He's in the same boat.
Just sitting on the couch?
Yeah.
Was he awake, asleep, or something else?
Okay.
Was awake. Alright. And then, so the cops came, and then Derek went to jail, but you don't know why?
I wasn't home. I didn't know what he went to jail. Or how I got in my mom told me, she told me.
Okay. What did she say?
She said, as for Derek wasn't in, she said he went to jail and that's why. And so because Jenna called it. Jenna found out about Alex breaking his leg, and then and his friend called the cops and told them to check her out.
Okay. Right. Anything else that you think I should know? I'm gonna step out and check with my team. I'll be right back. You can draw a picture or keep playing with that, okay?
No. I don't know. I think.
Boy, he's causing all kinds of ruckus.
let's cut it. Thanks for waiting for me, Major. Okay, so just have a few more questions to make sure that I understand everything correctly. When did anyone talk to you about coming here today? No? Okay. Did anyone tell you why you were coming here? Did anyone tell you why you were going to come here and talk to me today?
No.
No? Okay. Did anyone tell you what to say when you came here?
No.
No? Okay. Do you have any questions about what we talked about? No? Okay. So I've asked a lot of stuff today. Is there anything I forgot to ask you about?
Why did I accidentally push out some stairs?
Okay, tell me all about
I
that.
did that on purpose.
Did that on purpose?
Yeah,
How do you know?
because
Because. Go ahead.
she purposely pushed him.
She purposely pushed him?
Yeah.
Mm. Did you see you did that?
Yeah, that's what your brother said.
Yeah, that's what your brother said.
Yeah, listen.
That Maya purposely pushed Alex down the steps?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why Maya purposely pushed him down the steps?
No.
Oh, okay. Did anyone tell Maya to do it?
Nobody told Ryan to do it.
Nobody told Maya to do it? Okay. All right. Anything else I forgot to ask about? No. No. All right. Well, I've asked a lot of questions. Do you have any questions for me? Excuse me. All right. Well, we can move back out. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So now we'll go to Exhibit 59, which is, no, excuse me, Exhibit 62, which is Brantley's interview.
Come on, Ryan. Come in here. It'll be your turn in just a few minutes, okay? Okay, Ryan. Okay, come right in here. Can you sit right there, Brantley? Okay. Right here is fine. Okay. How are you doing today, Brantley? Good. Well, earlier I introduced myself and I let you know my name is Danielle. So I'm going to write it up here. Do you want to write your name up here or do you want me to? All right. Okay.
I hope this sounds better. That sounded terrible. That was really loud.
All right, thank you, Brantley. How old are you?
No.
5. Okay, I'm gonna write that up here. All right. So, Brantley, do you go to school? Yeah, where do you go to school? Hinton. Okay.
And guess what?
What?
My brother died.
Okay. Do you want to tell me all about that? Yeah.
Please came and he was sleeping and then he died.
And then he died. Thank you for telling me that. I'm going to let you know a few things and then we'll talk a little bit more about your brother dying. Is that there are some cameras in here that allow the team members that I work with to see and hear us today? What do you think about that?
Is that chick hitting a vape?
Okay. So
Oh no,
we're
it's
gonna
her
mix up
lip
and
line.
check with my team.
Lip gloss.
And then I want to make sure that I understand everything you say. So when we talk, sometimes I will write things down or sometimes I will repeat things back to you. If I say or write anything wrong, I want you to correct me, okay? Okay. So how did you find out that your brother died?
My mom, the police told us to go to the living room, and my mom needed some air. She was hot. Then she said, my son died. Then that's it.
That's it. Where were you when that happened?
At my house.
At your house? Okay.
There's a firefighter in the ambulances.
There was a firefighter in the ambulances? Okay. What brother was it that died?
Alex.
Alex? Okay. So, where were you when the firefighters and the ambulance came?
At home, and me and my sister Ryan and me and my mom came out, and we went to and auntie came, and then Gabe, then my grandma, then my grandma was crying, then the police told my grandma to stop, and then she didn't stop, then
Wow.
that's how it is.
That's how it is. Thank you so much for telling me that. You said that Grandma and Gabe came?
The uncle.
Your uncle Gabe. Okay.
Sorry.
So, who called the police and the ambulance?
They just came by themselves.
They just came by themselves? Okay. What were you doing before they came to your house?
I was going upstairs.
You were what upstairs?
I was going upstairs with my sister Raya.
You were going upstairs with your sister Raya. Okay. Where was Mom?
Still there.
Still there? Okay. What room was she in?
Upstairs.
Upstairs? Okay. Where was your brother Alex?
At the doctor.
At the doctor? Okay. So when you woke up in the morning, this was yesterday morning?
To the doctor.
It was the next day morning.
It was the next day morning? Okay.
After tomorrow.
After tomorrow? Okay. So where did you sleep that night?
At my aunt's house.
At your aunt's house, okay. So if we go back 2 nights when you were still at your house, who was at the house that night when Alex was still alive? It was you and Alex and your mom?
And my sister.
And your sister? Okay, was anyone else there? No?
My dad went to jail.
Your dad went to jail? Okay, do you know what Dad went to jail for?
Why?
I don't know, I was asking.
Because he was doing something wrong. He was supposed to work her.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So he wasn't doing anything wrong, he was just drinking liquor. Okay. All right, so did Dad drink liquor often? How do you know when Dad drinks liquor?
I just watch him in the garage.
You just watch him in the garage? Okay. What does his liquor look like?
Beard.
Beard? Okay. All right, so Dad goes to jail. Did you see Dad go to jail? Did the cops come and get him?
No, he just needed him to text his boss, and then the cops just arrested him.
Okay, so he just needed to text his boss, and then the cops needed to arrest him at the jail? Okay, so Dad's gone, and it's you and Mom and your sister Raya and Jalen. And Jalen. Okay, so
And my sister was at my brother's at the doctor.
He's at the doctor?
Yeah.
No more, right. He's at the doctor now, but I'm wanting to go back to when Alex was alive and he was at the house. So Alex is alive and he's at the house. Dad's in jail. You and Mom and Raya. And is Jalen there? Okay, is anyone else at the house that night? When Alex is still alive? Major? Okay. Anyone else?
Zayden.
Zayden? Okay. So then
Dad.
Then Dad?
Yeah, he came back from jail.
He came back from jail. Okay. So when Alex is still alive, are you playing with him? What are you doing?
Playing with cars.
Play with cars. Okay. And what room are you in?
In Mom's room.
In Mom's room? Okay. And then
Who's she?
oh, right there it is. Yep. It kind of blends in, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. So the last night that you spent with Alex when he was alive. Mm-hmm. Did anything happen that night?
He steals.
He stealed?
Yeah.
What did he steal?
Chips.
Chips. Okay.
Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos?
Takis.
And Takis? Okay. What happens when Alex steals?
He gets in trouble.
Okay. What does getting in trouble look like?
And kicked.
You get kicked? Okay. Who does the kicking?
What?
Who kicks?
My mom.
Your mom? Okay. And who does Mom kick?
Alex.
Alex. Okay.
Joe,
And where
somebody's
on
telling him to
Alex's
say
body
that.
does
I
Mom kick?
just feel it.
Right here? Okay. Does Mom kick Alex one time, more than one time, or something else?
More than one time.
Okay. What does Alex, good catch. What does Alex do when Mom kicks him?
He runs.
He runs. Okay. So does Mom do anything else besides kick Alex?
Yeah.
What does she do?
She hits him.
She hits him. What does she hit him with?
A paddle.
A paddle. What does the paddle look like?
A spoon.
A spoon? Okay. Do you know what color the spoon is? No. Okay. And then where is the spoon kept?
A secret place.
Where's that secret place?
In my brother Zayden's room.
In your brother Zayden's room? Okay. Where in Zayden's room?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Forever, one of the things I forgot to do when we started talking was to talk about truth and lie. Do you know the difference between a truth and a lie?
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother does. Alex.
How does Alex know?
He's smarter than me.
He's smarter than me? Okay, that's okay. Thank you for letting me know you don't know. Bradley, if I said you were 5 years old, would that be the truth or a lie?
True.
Truth. If I said you're 20, would that be a truth or a lie?
Why?
A lie. Okay. And what happens if someone lies and an adult finds out about it?
What?
What happens if a kid lies and an adult finds out that the kid lied?
Kicked and hit.
You get kicked and hit. Okay. And do you agree that what you talked with me about today will be the truth? Okay, thanks. All right, so you said that the spoon is in Zayden's room? Where in Zayden's room is it?
And a secret door.
In a secret door? Okay. Do you know where that secret door is? Okay, tell me all about it.
She put money in it. She put gold in it, and she put money. And she put Some diamonds.
Diamonds, okay. So money, and did you say a gun or gum?
Gun.
A gun. So money, gun, diamonds, and then the spoon are in that secret door. Okay. And that secret door is in Zayden's room?
Yeah.
Yep. Where in Zayden's room is it?
Closet.
In the closet?
Wow.
Okay. So inside the closet, there's another door? Or am I not understanding it correctly?
You're understanding it correctly.
Okay. And is there a lock on that door? Yeah?
The key's in it.
The key's in it? Okay. Does Dad know about that door?
Here, hold on. Hold on.
Does Dad know? Yeah.
Lay down.
Does Dad put anything in there? Okay.
Lay down, Leah.
It has a minigun and a big gun.
A minigun and a big gun? Okay.
Lay down.
All right, so then that last night that Alex was at the house and he was alive, he sold chips and Takis, is that correct? And then he got kicked and hit with the spoon. Where on Alex's body did he get hit with the spoon? Right here. Okay. And did you see that happen, hear it, or something else?
I hear it.
You heard it? Okay, what did you hear?
Hear him crying.
You heard him crying? Okay. What room was Alex in when that happened?
My room.
Your room?
My mom.
Oh, Mom's room. Thank you for correcting me. Was anyone else in Mom's room besides Mom and Alex?
Me and my sister Raya.
You and your sister Raya? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then, what happens after the hits and the kicks are done?
He cleans.
He cleans? What does he clean?
Dog.
Dog poop.
What?
How does Alex clean the dog poop?
What?
He wants. Okay. And then what? After Alex...
He has a broken leg.
Oh, he has a broken leg? Okay. How did Alex break his leg?
He fell. My sister and I pushed him down the stairs.
Your sister pushed him down the stairs? Okay. Was there anyone else around when Raya pushed him down the stairs? No. Okay. How do you know Raya pushed him down the stairs?
Because.
Because? Did someone tell you that Raya pushed him down the stairs? Did you see Raya push him down the stairs?
Yeah.
You saw it? Okay. So then that last night that Alex was alive, the hits and kicks are done. He cleans the dog poop and he was walking, even though he had a broken leg. And then what happens?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Did you go to bed that night? Did you go to sleep?
I had no sleep.
You had no sleep? Okay. What were you doing?
Watching Alex.
Watching Alex. What was Alex doing?
He's turning into a monster.
Okay, tell me all about that.
He drinks poisonic water and then he turned into a monster.
He drank poisonic water and then he turned into a monster. Okay, where did the poisonic water come from?
Drain.
The drain. Okay. How did he get that?
So I'm outside.
Okay. All right. In the morning, when you woke up, where were you? What room were you in?
Upstairs.
Upstairs? Okay. Was there anyone else in that room?
That's all it is.
That's all it is? Okay. Where was Alex?
In my room.
In Mom's room? Okay. Where does Alex usually sleep?
In my room.
In Mom's room? Where do you usually sleep?
In my room.
In Mom's room? How come you didn't sleep in Mom's room that night?
Because I sleep with my aunt.
You slept with your aunt, okay. Do you ever get hits or kicks from Mom? No? Does Mom do anything else to Alex? That's it? Okay.
I don't know about all
Are you
this.
allowed to eat whatever you want? Could Alex eat whatever he wanted? Okay. Are there any rules about ketchup? No. Okay. Oops. Does Dad ever give hits or kicks? What? No. Does Dad know that Mom gives hits and kicks?
No, she can do whatever she wants. No, she can do whatever she wants. And what she wants to them.
Okay. Why can't she do whatever she wants to him?
She can.
She can. Okay. And does Dad know about that? Yeah. Okay. Trying to think. What else should I know about it?
Nothing else.
Nothing else?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Did you see Alex before the
When you go past the middle school,
ambulance
that
came?
four-way
Yeah.
stop,
What did he
going
look like?
towards Walmart, take a right.
He looked like a
Go
monster.
down the street, and the first one that you're able to take a left.
Did Mom say anything to you
Take
about Alex?
left. Their duplex is about 2 or 3 down. There
Okay, so
should
when
be lots
the
of cars
ambulance and the
outside,
fire
like you
people
couldn't miss
came?
their apartment or their duplex.
The police came too.
The police came too. Thank you for letting me know that.
And the firefighter.
And the firefighters? Okay. Did any of them talk to you?
No.
No? Okay. Did you hear what Mom said?
No.
Okay. Did anyone talk to you about coming here today? Yes, who talked to you?
My grandma.
Your grandma? What did she say?
Said the police and firefighters and ambulance are coming.
Okay. What about before you came here today? Did anyone talk to you about coming here today?
Yes.
What did they say about coming here today?
Annie said I'm going to the meeting.
Oh, okay. Did anyone tell you what to say when you came in here to talk to me?
No.
No? Okay, did you rip that off?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. I'm just thinking, was there anything I forgot to ask you about?
Scoot over.
Was
Scoot
anyone
over!
named Alex?
Oh, I forgot. You tell the dog to move.
If
Sorry.
Jalen, what would Jalen do?
She kicked him.
She kicked him? Okay.
In the private part.
In the private part?
She's 10.
She's 10? What did Alex do when Jalen kicked him in the private part?
She told Mom and she didn't, but Mom didn't care.
She told Mom and Mom didn't care? Okay. Did Jalen ever kick you? She's go ahead now. Okay. Does Jalen ever kick Major? Does Jalen ever kick Zayden? Does Jalen kick Raya? No? Okay. Did Mom ever do anything to Alex besides hits and kicks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah? What's that?
she hits me.
She hits you? Okay. And kicks you? Where in your body does she hit you? Mm-hmm. Okay. When was the last time Mom hit you there?
Thursday.
Thursday? Okay. What did Mom hit you there with?
Nobody.
Okay.
Really tired.
You're really tired? Okay. Does Dad know that Mom hits you? Does Dad ever hit you? Oh, okay. I'm trying to think. Anything else you haven't told me yet?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What's that?
My brother got kicked me.
Your
My
brother?
brother Major.
Brother Major kicked you? Okay. Where in your body did Major kick you?
My mom.
In your mouth. How did that feel?
Dad.
Bad. Okay. Did you tell Mom or Dad that Major did that? No. Okay. Does anyone ever get choked at your house? Yeah? Shook your head. Who gets choked?
Alex.
Alex. And who chokes Alex?
Mom.
Mom. Okay. What does Mom choke Alex with?
Her hand.
Her hand. Okay. You want to go by your auntie? Okay. I'm going to step out and check with the team. You can sit here and play, and I'll be back in a minute, okay? Thank you so much for waiting for me. I just have a couple more questions. All right, so you said that Alex was in Mom's room.
Yeah.
Okay, where in Mom's room was Alex?
And on the bed.
He was on the bed? Okay. Did Mom try to take Alex off the bed at all?
Yeah.
Yeah? Tell me about that.
She been trying to make Alex get up.
She tried to make Alex get up? Okay. So Alex was on the bed. Okay. What did Mom do to try and make him get up?
Feed him biscuits.
Feed him biscotti? Okay. Good. Did you see that, or did Mom tell you about it?
Mom told me about it.
Okay. You can look in there. They're dolls that we use as tools to help kids explain sometimes. So they're not toys, we use them for tools. And then you talked about the poison water. Tell me more about the poison water.
She put water in the drain and poisoning stuff.
Oh, who did that? Good job.
My boy.
Your boy?
No, my bully.
Oh.
That's at school all the time.
Your bully that's at school all the time did that?
Yeah.
Okay. You said that Alex drinks poisonic water that made him turn into a monster?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did the poisonic water look like?
Bright water.
What was that?
What?
I just didn't understand. I apologize. What kind of water was it?
It was like Sprite water.
Like Sprite water?
Yeah.
Okay. And did that happen in real life, in your dream, or something else?
Real life.
Real life, okay. Who gave Alex the poisonic water?
He got it by himself.
He got it by himself? Okay, where was it?
In the drain.
In the drain?
Yeah.
Okay. And did Alex put it in a glass, a cup, or something else? Glass, what did the glass look like?
Minecraft.
Minecraft? Okay. Do you know where the Minecraft glass is now? Okay. Huh?
I'm hot.
You're hot? Okay. And has Alex ever drank the poisonic water before?
One time.
One time? Tell me about that time.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Okay. All right. Well, I've asked you a lot of questions today, Brantley. Do you have any questions for me? Okay. Did you ever drink the poisonic water?
Yeah.
No? Did anyone else besides Alex ever drink it? Okay. I'll get the door for you. There you go.
Okay. Now we'll go to Exhibit 66, Araya's interview. Yep. Yes, yes. Why don't we take a 5-minute? Why don't we do this? Let's take a 5-10 minute break.
I would say that was a lot to consume. Wow. It's not looking so good for Josie Joe.
Maybe see it.
Oh my God, it's still partway into the early
They're ready.
afternoon, and they're still watching. Yeah, I'm just letting it play because it's going to go into the live. Hello,
Hi, is Ronnie available?
this is Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie. It's Travis with the Iowa Department for Line. How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Pretty good. Are you still like neighbors with the with Florian and Edward and?
Well, no, we're not neighbors, but they're my boyfriend's cousins.
Okay.
Why? What's up?
Well, I was just trying to give them a call to remind them that they all three have eye exams on Tuesday, the 19th.
Okay. Now you do know that they were just down at the eye clinic in Davenport, right?
I did not know.
Okay, all
Yeah,
the parties
they,
are here.
all
We'll
have been
bring the
approved for
jury back into
disability.
the
Well,
last
that's
meeting.
Can we
good,
get
right?
the court to just remind everyone to
Yeah.
quiet during the.
Yeah, it's very important. I'll just say this. It's very important that everybody be quiet.
I don't
during
know
this
if
period of
disability
time.
would share that
Very, very
information with you or
important.
not.
So, thank you.
Right. I guess I just need to review. Do you know what eye clinic they got?
Say what?
Do you know what eye clinic they went to?
Yeah, Eye Surgeon Associates. Yeah, the doctor was really nice.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, I'll ask them if they still want our services or not. If they got a disability.
Yeah.
Okay. He's back in the courtroom.
Okay.
Parties and the jury.
Okay.
The last request
Bye.
was for Exhibit 66, which is the interview with Raya. So.
Oh crap! I did not realize. I'm not gonna be. I'll try to cut that out. I forgot it was on mute or off mute.
Okay, Ryan, your turn. All right. Okay, ready? You want to come right over here? Ooh, Jimmy Cricket, sorry. There you go. You can have a seat right here. Toys? Yeah, you could look at those. Well, Raya, earlier when I introduced myself, I told you my name is Danielle.
I have a unicorn puppet and my sister.
You have a unicorn puppet?
And I have a sister.
And a sister. Okay. What's your sister's name?
Jalen.
Jalen? All right. Raya, do you know how to write your name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a heart in my name.
Do you want to write it?
Yeah. The heart looks different.
The heart looks different? Okay. Thank you.
There's an X in my brother's name.
There's an X in your brother's name?
Yeah.
Oh.
My other brother's
Your
name.
other brother's name? Okay.
But my other brother died.
Oh, okay. Your other brother died?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Okay. I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. All right. So, Raya, how old are you?
4.
4. Oh, my goodness. So, you're 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you,
There's F on my name.
there's an F in your name. What do you like to do for fun?
Play with my brothers.
Play with your brothers? I need you an F.
What?
Yeah. You need an F. Okay.
And B.
And B. Okay.
I know how to draw B.
You know how to draw a B? Okay. Thank you very much for showing me that. All right, Riley, do you know the difference between a truth and a lie?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the difference?
I don't know.
You don't know? Thank you for letting me know that. So if I said, Raya, you're 4, would that be the truth or a lie?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I said, Raya, you're 10, would that be the truth or a lie?
Why?
Lie. Okay. What happens if someone tells a lie and an adult finds out about it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. All right. So, Raya, when we're in here, we talk about things that are the truth.
Okay.
Yeah. So you mentioned your sister, Jalen, and some brothers.
This is my name.
That's your name. Thank you very much for writing it for me. What are your brothers' names?
One of them.
Huh?
One of them.
One of them is next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
X.
Oh, an X. Thank you for correcting me. What's your brothers' names?
Alex and Brant.
Alex and Brant. Okay.
I didn't even
Whoops.
know
Sorry.
that my brothers have a B.
Because you said his name was Brant, so I sounded out the letters.
This is my name.
That is your name. Thank you very much. Okay. Do you have any other brothers besides Alex and Brant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Major and Zayden.
Major and Zayden. Okay. Do you have a mom and a dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's mom's name?
Josie.
Josie. What's dad's name?
Derek.
Okay. All right. How do you get along with your brothers?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Do you play with your brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Do they play nice?
Yeah.
Does anyone play mean?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, sometimes my brother punch me.
Which brother?
Then both of them.
Both of them punch you?
All of them.
All of them do? Okay.
And my sister does.
And your sister does? How does that feel when they punch you?
Sometimes it doesn't hurt.
Sometimes it doesn't hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it does hurt.
And sometimes it does hurt. Thank you very much for letting me know that.
Okay.
You can. Okay. So, Raya,
What?
you said that sometimes that your brothers or your sister punch you. Does anyone else punch you?
No.
No. Does anyone hit you?
No. Oh, they always do stuff to me.
Oh, tell me more about that.
And they always kick me.
And they always kick you? Yeah.
They always hit me in the eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then what do you do?
And last time, well, Brantley hit me in the eye with a stick.
Last time Brantley hit you in the eye with a stick?
Yeah, and now my eye was purple.
And now your eye was purple?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you tell mom or dad that Brantley did that?
Dad wasn't there, so I told him Mom.
What did mom say?
She said, go say sorry to her.
Okay. And mom said that Brantley had to go say sorry to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Does mom ever hit or kick you?
no,
No. Does mom ever hit or kick anyone else?
no.
No. Does dad, were you going to say something?
Dad always be mean to my mom.
Dad always be mean to your mom?
Yeah.
Okay. What does dad do that's mean to your mom?
He always yelled at her.
He always yells at her?
Yeah.
Okay.
and he always kicks my mom.
He kicks your mom?
Yeah.
Okay. Where in her body does Dad kick your mom?
Last time, my mom was holding my brother and it kicked my mom while my brother. While she was holding my brother.
Say that to me again.
Dad kicked his mom and then she was holding her and it kicked it away, or was it in her hands?
Okay, so Dad kicked Mom, and then Mom did what?
She held his breath and then he kicked Brent. He kicked his mom while it was in her hands.
Okay, thank you so much for helping me to understand it. So Mom was holding Brant and Dad still kicked Mom?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for helping me understand that. Does Dad ever kick you?
No.
No? Okay. Does anyone kick Jalen?
No.
No? Does anyone kick Alex?
No.
No? Does anyone kick Brant?
No.
Does anyone kick Major?
No.
Does anyone kick Zayden?
No.
No? Okay. So you said that your brother died?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you find out that your brother died? Because?
My mom told me that.
What did Mom say?
She was crying over not saying something.
She was crying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I had lots of blood, Brad took one.
When you had to do what?
I have blood, Brad took one.
You had burns? Say it again. I don't think that I understood you. That was my fault.
I found balloons and Brad just took one of them.
Thank you for saying you found balloons and Brant just took one?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for helping me understand. Okay. So when Alex died, what room in the house was he in?
My mom's room.
Your mom's room? Where in Mom's room was Alex?
On the couch.
On the couch? Okay. Did you see him?
No.
No?
That's why my brother told me that.
Your brother told you that? Which brother?
Brant.
Brant, okay.
Alex died.
Alex died. Yeah. Where did you sleep that night?
In my room.
In your room? Where do you normally sleep?
Upstairs.
Upstairs?
By my sister's room.
By your sister's room?
My sister's room is right by my bed.
Okay, your sister's room is right by your bed?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you slept that night in your room?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
where does Alex usually sleep?
in my room.
In Mom's room? Okay. Why does Alex sleep in Mom's room?
Because he have a broken foot.
Oh, okay. How did his foot get broken?
I pushed him down the stairs last time.
Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me that. Why'd you push him? Because why?
Because he was lying to Mom.
Oh, what was he lying about?
He was stealing and lying.
Oh, how did you know he was stealing and lying?
Because Mom told me that.
Mom told you that he was stealing and lying? Yeah. Yeah, and then did Mom tell you...
Stop the bubble.
Did Mom tell you what to do about him stealing and lying?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
What's this?
What'd Mom say to do about his stealing and lying?
She got him in trouble.
Oh. What happens when he would get in trouble?
Mom just put soap in his mouth.
Mom would put soap in his mouth? What does the soap look like?
Sink soap.
Sink soap? Okay. Where do you find it?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen?
Yeah, in the kitchen sink.
In the kitchen sink? Is it on top of the sink, under the sink, or something else?
On top of
On top of the sink, okay. Do you ever get soap in your mouth?
No.
No? Okay. Does anyone else ever get soap in their mouth?
No.
No? Okay.
Only in the movie.
Only in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if I saw on the phone last time,
Ooh.
something like the water and then their mom just gave it soap water.
And you saw that on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Because they didn't like the water.
They didn't like the water?
Yeah, the kids did.
The kid didn't? Okay.
Pop.
Pop.
That's shade.
Okay. So then mom told you that Alex was stealing and lying, and then you pushed him down the steps?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The basement ones.
The basement ones? Okay. Was there anyone else around when you pushed him?
No.
No? Who's it? Huh?
Only my mom.
Only your mom?
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to push him?
Bert told me to.
Brant told you to?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then mom got me in trouble.
Oh, what happened when you
Bert got me in trouble because he told me to push out down the stairs.
Okay. Brant told you to push Alex down the stairs, and then he got you in trouble?
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
Seven, pass the Bible.
I can't, it's too strong.
Thank you.
There. What did mom do when you pushed Alex down the stairs?
Nothing.
Nothing? Did anyone go help Alex when he fell down the stairs?
No.
No? What did Alex do?
He just said ow.
Oh.
He was fine on his butt.
He was on his butt?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he cry?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did mom do when Alex cried?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
Let's play catch.
Okay. Oops. Do you ever get hugs?
No.
No?
Yes.
Yes? Who gives you hugs?
All my family.
All your family? Okay. Did Alex ever get hugs?
No.
No?
I almost went up under the couch.
It almost did? Okay. Do you ever get choked?
No.
No?
Only my brothers choked me.
Only your brothers choke you? Okay. How does that feel when they choke you?
Feel the thing that feels when they choke me.
Feels like you're going to puke when they choke you?
Yeah.
Okay. Does mom know that they choke you?
Yeah. I always tell them. And one day be mean to me.
Okay. What does mom do?
She get them in trouble and put them in the rooms.
Okay. Does dad know that they choke you?
No.
No. Okay. Does anyone else in your family get choked? No.
I'm gonna go right to catch.
You want to go by the couch?
On top.
On top? Okay. All right. So the night that Alex died, then he was sleeping in mom's room because he had a broken leg? Yeah. Okay. Did you wake up and hear anything at night? No.
Brent woke me up.
Brent woke you up?
What did he say?
What did Brant say when he woke you up?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
He just said Alex died.
He just said Alex died?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were sleeping until Brant woke you up?
Yeah.
Okay. Did the police or firemen or anybody come to your house?
Only the police.
Only the police? Okay. Did they talk to you?
No.
No? Okay.
They just said hi.
They just said hi?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
What is that thing for?
It's got tools in it that help me when I talk to kids sometimes. Yeah. Oh, you got it rolled up in your shirts. Boop. Okay. Was anyone mean to Alex?
No.
No. Did Alex get in trouble for anything else besides lying?
Yeah.
What?
When you steal Mom got in trouble.
Oh, when he steals. I think you said that. Thank you for reminding me.
Can I find that tape?
Yeah. And when he would get in trouble, who would get him in trouble? Mom or Dad?
Mom.
Mom. Okay.
Both
And
of them.
both of them? Okay. What would Mom do to get him in trouble?
She just yelled at him.
Yelled at him? What would Dad do?
I'm a pig.
You're a pig. What would Dad do when Alex is in trouble?
He just ran away. His toys.
You just throw away his toys? Okay.
I get him in trouble.
What?
Get in trouble.
Get in trouble? Okay. You're going to put it on me? Thank you. Does Brant ever get in trouble? No. Does Major ever get in trouble? Careful on your eye. What happens when Major gets in trouble?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Does Zayden ever get in trouble?
No.
No. Okay. Be careful, I don't want the tape to hurt your eye, okay? All right, I'm going to step out and I'm going to check with my team. You can wait right here and I'll be back in a minute, okay? Thank you.
I'm scared of anyone.
You're scared? I'll leave the door open just a little bit, okay? There you go.
She's not going back.
Well, Raya, thank you very much for talking with me. I asked you a lot of questions today. Is there anything about Alex dying that you didn't tell me yet? No? Okay. Do you have any?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for correcting me. What haven't you told me yet?
Because you just left.
Oh, okay. So what else about Alex dying should I know?
The police took him to the hospital.
The police took him to the hospital?
Yeah.
How did Alex die?
Oh, I didn't like him.
Yeah. How did Alex die?
Wait, because I don't know.
Thank you for letting me know that.
You told me that.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah.
What questions?
Alex died.
Alex died. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Sad.
Sad. Yeah. All right. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Well, let's go back over.
Hey.
What?
Can you ask something?
Sure.
Kim, I'm going to put this on the back
Okay.
so I don't lose it.
Good thinking.
It's a heart.
Another heart. Good job. All right. Okay.
She'll probably spell her name like that for the rest of her life. That is so cute. However she spelled it, I assume the I is the heart.
So that's everything you'd asked. You can go back to deliberate. Let us know if you have other questions or anything else. Thank you.
Hmm.
Maybe see it, everyone. State any concerns about how those were replayed?
No.
All right, defense?
No.
All right. All right, be available and we'll go from there.
All right, y'all. I do believe that that is it. The jury is deliberating even now. So as soon as they come back with a verdict, I will continue the recording. I'm just going to pause it for right now. So, all right, we'll be back when there's a verdict. Okay, so on my screen, the judge is back. So I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what's going on. So we got 2 verdict watches. Well, the one for the Julio Fulio, they're on watch for the sentencing, and we're on verdict watch for her guilt or not guilt or whatever. So on my phone, he's already come out and he's talking. He's not talking. Well, he's talking, but on mute. So, oh, now he's off mute.
State's counsel table is Investigative Sergeant Rich Amundsen. Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning, Judge. Ms. Dikeman appears in person with her attorneys Chris Sager and David Bowles. Also present is paralegal Emily Sanchez.
I was just told the jury just got here. They wanted 15 minutes before we start the videos, but we should probably talk about, again, just to get the exhibit numbers and make sure we have the right.
Oh my God, y'all. My video on my phone started over. Okay, well, we'll see y'all later. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this out. Jesus. I thought they had a verdict. Okay, they're back. Not sure what's going on, but we're going to find out. So who's the guy in the red? He's new. Oh, he's got a sheriff badge on, so he must be. Oh, he must be the one that's going to arrest her if she's found guilty. Like, he doesn't have to put her in jail. She can wait till sentencing. I mean, she's been out and she hasn't done anything wrong.
Okay. All right. All the parties are present. I understand Mr. Torberson can't, he's stuck in some other hearing or something.
Yeah, he is not available at the moment, Your Honor. He said we can go ahead and proceed.
Okay.
He apologizes, but
No, yeah, I mean, it's okay. At least one of you's here. So, so all the parties are here. Everybody's present, except for Mr. Torberson because of a conflict. One thing I do want to say before we bring the jury in, this case is obviously very emotional, very difficult for everybody. And I just want you all to realize that this is the process. I still expect there to be decorum. I expect there not to, I'd ask you not to shout out, not to say one thing or another. You know, please leave orderly at the end, whatever the result may be. And I'll say, and just one last thing is that a case like this, and I've had a number of them, it is raw emotion, which is there, and I know that. It is very important that we deal with this in this way. And so I ask for all of you to take that into consideration. And ultimately, we all are grieving over this situation. So having said that, let's bring the jury in.
You haven't turned off your cell phone. You don't see any cell phone.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. I should have said that. All right, everybody may be seated. And has the jury reached a verdict? Okay, could you hand the verdict, hand it to Terry and she'll hand it over to me? Thank you. Make sure we have all the 6 pages. That's great. Okay.
Come on, Judge. Jesus.
State of Wisconsin versus Josie Dikeman, La Crosse County case number 23 CF 475. Count 1. We, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of first-degree reckless homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. Verdict for count, signed by the foreman. Verdict for count 2. We, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of chronic neglect of a child. Consequences is death as charged in count 2 of the information. Signed by the foreman. Count 3. We, the jury, find Josie Dikeman guilty of physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death as charged in count 3 of the information. Did at least one violation cause the death of the child? No. Did at least one violation result in great bodily harm to Alexander Pendren? Yes. Signed by the foreman.
So as to those verdicts, I'm going to ask you as a joint, you just say yes at first, but then I'm going to go through each verdict. The first question is that your verdict as a jury?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one. I'm going to poll the jury. that I'm going to go through each one of you. I'm going to use numbers 1 through 7, 1 through 5 here, 1 through 7 to 14 or 12. Excuse. So first of all, juror number 1, is that your verdict as to count 1? Actually, the person behind you. All right. Juror number 2, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 3, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 4, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 5, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 6, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 7, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 8, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 9, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 10, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 11, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 12, is that your verdict as to count 1? Juror number 1, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 2, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 3, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 4, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 5, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 6, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 7, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 8, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 9, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 10, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 11, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 12, is that your verdict as to count 2? Juror number 1, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 2, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 3, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 4, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 5, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 6, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 7, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 8, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 9, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 10, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 11, is that your verdict as to count 3? Juror number 12, is that your verdict as to count 3? As indicated, with that, members of the jury, you have completed your duty as your jury duty. Not only that, your duty for this trial. It's been a long 3 weeks. I want to thank you for your time. I do want to come back and talk to you a little bit. It's about some information we're handing out for these type of trials, basically about trauma and some other issues. So if you can stick around a couple minutes, we should be there. We'll need to talk a little bit here as to what to do next, and I'll be right out. So thank you so much. We'll see you in a bit. All right, everybody may be seated. Obviously, first of all, the question for the state, any objection to how the court did the polling?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any objection to how the court did the polling? Obviously, there's conviction for each one of these counts. It's not it's the lesser included. It's essentially on count 1 and 3. It's the original on 2. Because the convictions have been, well, Mr. Toverson, if you want to come on up, that's fine. The court will go ahead and, at this point, accept those verdicts. I'll enter them into the record. Court's going to order a pre-sentence investigation and order a sentencing. It's probably going to be more like 60 days, just simply for the complexity of this. Given the seriousness of these charges, given everything else, I am going to revoke the bond at this point.
I'd like to be heard on that, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Judge, since the state's primary witnesses, one of them is an admitted perjurer. The other two were obviously lying, given Ms. Dikeman's bond compliance throughout the course of this case. Given the fact that the man actually responsible for this child's death is seated free in the back of this courtroom, We're asking that the court continue her bond while we prepare her sentencing.
State's position.
The jury's found her responsible for the death of this child. The presumption of innocence is gone. She should be remanded.
The court's remanding her into custody at this point in time on the basis, not only, I know she's been very compliant with bond, but these are very serious charges. She is found guilty at this point. I agree with the state. I think the other issue we raise is not for this court to decide. That's for a different forum. With that, the court will remain her into custody right now. As far as the case goes, we are concluded as of today. I'll get a date for the sentencing. There might be an alternative PSI, maybe.
Judge, a couple things. One, Ms. Dikeman maintains her Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights to silence and does not wish to be questioned by any law enforcement officer or agent of the state while remanded. Two, I'm asking the court to order that the PSI not come with a specific recommendation due to the anchoring effect and due to the fact that the recommendations vary widely and are inconsistent with State versus Galleon. Number three, I can tell the court that we're going to advise Ms. Dikeman not to cooperate with the PSI and meet with the agent. And number four, I am told that there should be some exculpatory reports that we have not received regarding at least 3 different witness interviews and the laboratory testing of the substance, which proved to be sucrose, allegedly. So I'm putting that on the record that we are still requesting those reports.
Okay. So obviously, I'm still going to order a PSI for the background information, even if she doesn't participate. As far as the issue of get a date, if you end up doing an alternative PSI, just let us know. Obviously, we need to give enough notice for everybody to be here for the sentencing, and plus for the victims to make their statements. Anything else today from the state's perspective?
No, thank you.
No, Judge Zachary. All right. So what I would ask is, why don't we have one of the families please leave, the other family stay here. Those in support of Ms. Dikeman, just stay here for a bit. Those who are other, please, if you want to go ahead and file out each separate times. Correct. We do that out of security just to make sure everybody's safe. All right, we're adjourned. Oh yeah, I'll be back then.
Well, y'all, I'm not going to say how I feel about this, but it is what it is, and maybe she will get an appeal at some point. Thank you so much for being here with me and watching the Wisconsin versus Josie Dikeman trial. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm not sure what trial I'm going to do next. There isn't really a whole good list one that you can stay focused on. But all right, we'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Bye-bye.